doing here, and it's been working out. So Apple, boom, shakalaka. We'll see if this goes a little bit higher here. I still like it. I still think there's going to be good news to come with China. So yeah, we're excited to see where that happens. And here goes China, and here goes Apple, hopefully to the upside right now. Now in that dollar club zone. So yeah, it's been a good one there, and we'll just continue to watch it. People looking at AMD. Oh, it's 11 o'clock. All right. I mean, our flagship show is about to take place right here with a new member today. You've seen him many times. In fact, you saw him yesterday.
Before we do, I just got out for a small win. I want to explain. It's SK Hynix just bounced off VWAP here. And the second I saw that, it's like, no. We're going to get out. We're not going to take an L on DRAM, not today, when it looks strong. Because SK Hynix just caught a bid. And obviously, you're trading an ETF. You should know what's under the hood. And we know what's under the hood of that bad boy. So I just wanted everyone to see that. And, hey, it's going to be a fun one. You got Obi. Oh, there's the graphic.
There he goes. Got the graphic.
There it is. Hey, everybody, scan the QR code right now. Yeah. Fantastic cause. Fabian is going to cut the quaff in, well, just over 1 week. So 1 week and a day, next Friday. And we're at that 4,000 mark. So we'd like to power on through. 39.25. We're basically at the 4,000 mark. Let's get there. Let's not wait till next week to hit that target. Let's try to get there. We can get there tomorrow, and it'll be a heck of a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for all of your contributions, and we really appreciate you. Even if you don't, everyone give what you can.
Yeah, whatever.
And pay it forward. Like, let people know.
Yeah, let other people know. Yeah, let people know. Let everybody know. We took some money out there on Apple. We do got to go to Adara. So see ya. We'll be back at 2 p.m. Midday show incoming. There goes Apple, $1.10. What's up, Adara?
Google is sort of bouncing here a little bit. They already gave it up a bit. But Waymo, apparently, their rides are surging by 10x in 2 years. They've hit 1.4 million monthly rides in California. This reads very much like a press release, and it came out at 11, which also reinforces my belief this is probably a press release. So be careful. Uber not reacting to this. Sometimes they react often negatively to Waymo announcements. No reaction here for UBER. Without further ado, time to fly over to Joby.
There. Oh, well. Breakout on Bitcoin. Oh my God. Yeah, there we go. We'll see why I'm shaking my head here momentarily. Bang, 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 bang.
Why are you SMHing?
Because, dude, all right, we'll get into that here. We're going to do a roll call quickly. First and foremost, we're going to head over to TikTok, see what everybody's got going on over there. Bitcoin on the move here, guys. Positive 5 1/3%. Ed Traveler, King Jong-un, Madame Do It. We got Darren Morris, Chip. Couple more. Frankie Bumps. What's up, my boy? Frankie. What's going on? Lee. I hope everyone's good. Joseph Orozo. Runes for Ranger. Prem. Oh, okay. I can't repeat that. I almost said that. But bleep, pay me. Okay. That's not very nice. The Lords of Kobol. Sunflowers. Jay. Mindfulness. Sebastian. Kim. IKA. Yanni. Charles Tolliver always in the chat. Jason. Kira, Nan, Dragon Fluff, and Chicken Stuff. One more, last but not least, Joshua Wright up in the house here, ladies and gentlemen. There goes. I was following the price right here at 60s, and then now we're starting to get a pretty good breakout here on IBIT, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get into my prior trade here momentarily, but the volume most definitely starting to support this move. Not too bad of a look, but let's get into what we were up to bright and early this morning. Oh. Hold on.
What's going on?
Forgot to introduce my boy Obi before I got into all my trade. He's here as well, man.
You're enjoying yourself. You're having a great time. You're focused. The man is in the zone, guys. He's in the zone. He's focused.
But what's also in the zone now is look at this breakout on Bitcoin. Oh my
dude, wow,
days. Neil, look at this trend line break. I'm posted up, and then sure enough, off to the races it goes. So what a missed opportunity there. Now it's I don't want to chase it. Anyways, that's in the past. Nothing that we can do about it. All right, we got to take another pause here, Obi, before we do our little breakdown here of what we were trading bright and early this morning. VinFast reported strong Q2 momentum, delivering more than 70,000 EVs globally, up 96% year over year. First half deliveries reached nearly 129,000 vehicles, up 78%, reinforcing the company's growth trajectory across its expanding EV portfolio. By mid-year, VinFast had already achieved approximately 43%, both its 2026 4W and 2W deliveries targets, putting the company firmly on track across both growth engines. Beautiful stuff. Thank you for that. All right. We're going to get to Bitcoin momentarily, but as I mentioned, we're going to run through our trades really quick here because I think we have to keep our eyes out. We're not going to be chasing this, but if we're going to have any form of continuation here on IBIT, I'm going to be looking for a pullback, all right? So SGLY, UGLY, that's for sure.
Who's got no alibi?
Yeah, but apparently this one. Now, listen, as I'm reading in the chat, paying attention to what everybody's doing, we know Bowen, Adam, James, everyone here, I've seen multiple people write in the chat, I got destroyed on this name. All right? Now, I emphasize the fact how important it is to have something where you have direct access, time and sales, and level 2, especially when you're trading these small cap names. All right? It's really, really important. Why? Because this is no coincidence that I get out 2 minutes before this. Right? Like we see this all the time, and you see when I follow momentum, it's the exact same thing. And especially leading into the open, I'm out before it even breaks. Why? Because I'm reading the tape. And as soon as I seen the weakness step into the tape, I'm like, I'm at a dodge on this name, and there's no way that I'm holding this into the open. All right? So there it goes. We get all out of that one, and then it proceeds to drop 50, 60%. Not too good of a look. Let's send it over to the desk. We'll break down our other trades momentarily.
So you have U.S. Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent making a couple comments here. The market's falling. There was a bit of a volume spike right now as well. These comments are saying that they have a strong resource set for the Treasury's market, and Bessent also saying that U.S. yields do not show true fundamentals. Scott Bessent also continuing to say that buybacks may exceed the previous $4 billion that was announced, and also stating, my apologies, that volume, it's a low volume market at the moment, and that budget director will be reviewing the 30-year liquidity, which is especially weak.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that, Sia. Now moving forward, second ticker of the day, Webull, reported earnings last night, up substantially. Let's see if we can get any form of continuation. Now this took a couple attempts to get going, but eventually we did. Now, our first attempt posted up at the lower end of the range. You get a couple of pops. But then as soon as it cracked through some key support levels, I'm like, I'm at a dodge. Let's see if these levels hold up. But what does that also lead me to do? Let's head over to our options chain. Why? Because this underlying is optionable. And where are we going to find some form of supply? That's what I'm looking for. Where is the resistance zone sitting? And I notice it's at $10. So what do? I post up anyways, just in case it's absorbed and you punch through that level and you take that next step higher. That wasn't necessarily the case. But I was fortunate enough to get in. But the exact same scenario happened with Webull in regards to what happened with SGLY. I see the tape turn and the hedge funds just really start to push price lower, reasoning for me to get out of the trade once again at these highs. All right, now Obi's like, yeah, good out. Yeah, like we're just reading the tape and we're reading what the options chain is telling us, and then look what happens right after, okay? Price is just pushed all the way down. You're now trading at $9 and whatever cents, $9.05. All right, so we get out of there. We shoot 50% on that one. Last but not least here, Obi, IBIT, bear with me for a second here, ladies and gentlemen, is Bitcoin. Now, a little bit different scenario because we do have some supply. But the volume has most definitely ticked in. So this is why I'm posted up at these levels, all right? Anyways, one entry. I see Neil was involved in this as well too. Pullback right into the volume-weighted average price. We post up, and then sure enough, we were fortunate enough to take some partials off here and then got stopped out the remaining 40% break even, okay? So 40% right there, we got stopped out. It chops around the lows. I did want to post up at 45. That wasn't necessarily the situation I was sitting in, but now we have multiple orders here. My top one got filled up. The way I have it structured, this is my largest size. Why? Because look what's happening. We have a support system. So I posted up right where our key pivot level was before, all right? So the polarity within this name, what was once resistance can act as potential support, so that's why I stepped in right there. Now 10 cents ITM.
All right, guys, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder. Trader TV Live members only, get Sharif's daily morning research note every trading day. The big market stories, key levels, trade plans, catalysts, and what we're watching into the open. It's only $4.99 a month, and you also get members-only videos, posts, custom emojis, and loyalty badges. Hit join below the video and become a member. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe as well, guys. So some great trade reviews by Joe there. Some solid opportunities, some misses. some good outs there as well. But where's the next trade? Where's the next opportunity? Trying to stay in the game as well. And survivability is the name of the game. Market taking a little bit of a pullback here. I didn't really get involved with too much today, guys. And the ones I should have gotten a lot more aggressively involved in, I didn't really do that either. So kind of I would say, sitting on my hands a little bit, nothing too crazy. Walmart, I'm holding a little bit of the position here. You can see some solid earnings reaction right there. I don't want to say solid earnings report. You got to remember, when I'm talking charts and stocks, like, I don't care whether they go up or down. I just care whether there's volatility or there's a move. And this is a great move. This is a solid move, gap down. I'm not a long-term investor. I don't care what Walmart does in the next few weeks or months. I want to trade it today. Gap down, selling off, looking for that continuation off of the open. Guess how I tackled it? Comes in off of the open, pretty strong selling, and I get light. I actually get long before I get short, even though my original plan is to get short, because I saw some absorption at the opening range low. You can see here I tried a little bit of a push initially, get stopped out, and the second push actually works. And a little bit of a finesse. I use the reason to get out of that long to start building into my short. Reasons to sell start to come in. I flip short underneath into the 105s and off the 105s. And then I cover pretty much everything into 104s, which was the mistake there. Like, I know this thing doesn't move as much as like a Moderna. We saw what Moderna was doing yesterday. Absolutely crazy. $3-4 swipes at times, absolutely volatile. And then you step into the day today, trade something like Walmart, and it's moving a little bit like molasses. So you gotta have to adapt as well. So that's part of what I kind of forgot on the short position there. Covered over 90% of the position just right here on top of those 104s, because it just wasn't going right away. And my average was 105 halves. I think I'm still in a little bit of that position as of right now. Just a trailer, just to really see how far this can go. And yeah, definitely working out pretty nicely. Now, yesterday, I made a big mistake yesterday. I didn't really have much of a plan coming in, kind of just rolled out of bed, and I got clocked for it. The market will definitely put you in your place when you don't really plan stuff out and not really follow and adhere to a good plan. But regardless, yesterday was that. Today I was like, all right, Walmart's actually breaking down of a key level on the weekly chart. This is actually looking like it's breaking a multi-year trend, actually. We haven't really broken down trend on Walmart like this since, I would say, about 2022-ish. But we'll see if we can catch a bid. Walmart's another one of those stocks that only go up, right? So that was one of the trades. We'll talk about the other one right after we get back from Deere.
Take a look at USO. It's climbing a bit right now. U.S. Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent still speaking, saying on Iran now that oil markets are misinterpreting what economic pressure means, and the actions will curtail Iran's ability to take action through proxies. Also saying that this will be a coordinated economic isolation and that we can continue getting ships out of the southern lane when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz. And finally, that maximum economic pressure means likely not a kinetic restart.
Thank you very much, Sia, for that. But yeah, going back to Walmart here, I see some of you guys kind of talking about that Walmart only go up. Yeah, exactly. It's one of the stocks, bigger picture on the monthly. It kind of only goes up, but today, it decided to go down. Last quarter, I think it decided to go down as well. So this is kind of back-to-back hits onto Walmart. As we see, retail kind of all over the place. We saw Costco just a couple of months ago. Their earnings report in May, they got pretty rocked off of those and kind of been chopping around in and around some of those areas since then. So retail is pretty solid here. Walmart, one of my top names on the day. And guys, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on in Walmart, but. In the market, what's up?
What was this about Walmart? I just wanted to say a fun fact because I heard you mention it. You're correct that they dropped sharply the last two earnings. This is the first time they've dropped to that magnitude twice in a row since at least 2001. Shout out to Bespoke.
Yeah. So thank you, Deere, for that. So yeah, one of the biggest drops for a very, very long time. So that obviously adds some confluence as well. When you have historic moves like this, that continuation maybe a little bit to be expected, something to look for, right? But here's the thing, keeping it as simple as possible. If you were like, I want to look for sellers on Walmart when sellers come in, you can throw that anchored VWAP on there, or you can just take a look at VWAP. When you have a pre-market event, it's the same thing. So VWAP was exactly at, right here, just underneath 107s, right? 107.03s I have here. Some other platforms, it was 106.90s, whatever. It was at 107, give or take 10, 15 pennies. Guess what the opening range high on Walmart was? 106.96. So as soon as that bid came in off of the open, we talk about reading the tape off of the open. Those sellers came in instantly and slammed it off of VWAP. So I was like, all right, I have my answer. I know exactly who's in charge as of right now. The market has told me. Now it's my time to listen and get involved. So Walmart, one of the best, I would say, short continuation trades on the day today. Sure, there's a lot of other opportunities, but this one was very, very straightforward. Something like a Moderna, SpaceX was another one. SpaceX was a great short off of the open. VWAP, not as clean, kind of choppy, but you could have taken opening range low, which confluenced with that 135 level, which was a bit of a support level from a couple of weeks ago. So some solid opportunities in this market, Joe, man. Some great stuff. I tried some Moderna here as well. I tried to get short into the 40 because I was like, all right, we're pushing into the 40. Let me try to build some inventory to take through the 40. Didn't really have it cleanly. I kind of punched out right before that 40 came in because I was like, it's taken too long, which was stupid. It's just arbitrary, right? The market doesn't care what I think. Market doesn't work on my timeline. It's going to do what it's going to do, and it did exactly what it said it was going to do off of the open. Continue to sell off some more. So that 40 came in. I tried the long scalp, and I guess I just got stopped out of a quick short underneath that 140 while I was talking to you guys as well. So a lot of opportunity on this name. Easy to get chopped up, but got to keep that risk pretty tight and look for the next trade. So I ask you guys, what do you guys think is the next trade? What are you guys watching? What are you guys looking at? What have you guys been trading so we can take a look at some of those names as well? I know there's a lot. There was a lot on the docket today. You really had to be specific with your stock selections, and you could have made money in a lot of different places. It wasn't necessarily just Walmart, just Moderna. Shout out to my swing shorts from yesterday. I don't know too many people who have the guts to short a day one. But hey, man, it seems like it's working out quite well.
Your boy Skrelly might have.
Well, I don't know about him.
Your boy being your boy, or him?
No, like some of the swing short people that I talked to. So.
Okay, all right, shout out to them. Yeah, guys. I mean, listen, it hasn't. We talked about this yesterday as well, too, right? I mean, just the market not changing its current phase or sentiment, right? Like we've seen this in the NASDAQ for the past little while, where we see a lot of chop. Now, Hangry and everyone who's an options writer, Ozan, the man himself, this is a credit writer's dream, if you ask me, right? Because there's no specific direction. We're moving sideways. The majority of the movement is coming in the pre-market. Bitcoin's slightly breaking down here. I was going to pull up the options chain momentarily, but this isn't the first time over the past little while where we've seen this in the NASDAQ. Do we need to zoom out a little bit here? I think so, right? So we look at this. You're trading in within a couple of dollar range. Prices really starting to compress. Same thing. Initially out of the gate, but then in the latter half of the session, you're moving sideways. Oh, do we have to go over it again? A slight direction, but look how much chunks of the session are just moving eastward, okay? Sideways is a direction. Same thing here, first hour or so, not doing too much, eventually finds its way in slow recovery. So the market is definitely in a phase where it's taking a lot longer for us to find a specific direction. Like look at this one, 10:45 before you get out of this drop. So we're starting to cool down a little bit, and we know it's the end of the summer. I believe in the United States, kids are going back to school. People are getting prepared to go back to work, whoever's been in the Hamptons or whatever, the Wall Street boys. So things have definitely been on the snooze side, and I understand that, right? Let's just not get that twisted. Be patient, because you know what they say, October is just around the corner there. I know it's a couple of months away here, Obi, but other than that, some good times in October. And I wonder if Bitcoin is going to follow suit. We're still in this position right now. 40.75, is what I posted up at. We're now at 90s. Let's see if we can head up into that 41 level now. I pulled up the options chain to see if there's any open interest or anything standing in my way. I'm not seeing it. The contracts that we were talking about this morning are currently already underwater, $40. Now we can push south of 40, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the happen considering what we've seen from a volume standpoint step into these underlying assets themselves. So 41 bucks can most definitely be absorbed. Would we like to have some more size? Yeah, but that's just not the world that we're sitting in. 41 and change is where we got. These were my orders. And as I was talking to Obi, price was literally at 40.68 and I posted up at 67 and the bid never tapped into that. So I'm like, okay, we're really strong. Let me put an order a little bit higher at a previous pivot. And then sure enough, that's exactly what came into play. We were fortunate enough to catch this bottom wick, and then now off to the races we go. We'll definitely, I know Sharif's not here, but we'll definitely get into some small cap momentum, but I'm not falling into the narrative of yesterday when I was done trading around 8:30, and then we proceed to give some back, messing around on Moderna, all right? So we're going to really, really size down here, and then maybe look for some form of continuation via the crypto plays. Now, before I send it back to Obi, let's head over to our watch list and see how the leveraged, or the treasuries, I should say, are performing today. BM&R, and how is Ethereum outperforming BM&R? Anyways, that's the question. And then here's MSTR up 7% and Bitcoin up 5.5%. So not too bad of a look. And we pulled up the options chain on those plays, and they're not as liquid as they used to be, I should say.
Yeah, definitely not. I think it's interesting to me the move on Bitcoin, kind of a bit of a front run. We saw the market kind of picking up when we knew Trump was kind of meeting with some of these CEOs to discuss on crypto matters, and it's interesting that he just swipes up that aggressively again. Bitcoin's back, maybe. We got that 75 on the horizon. I don't know if we actually clocked 75 today. I haven't even looked at it since the pre-market. But let's take a quick look. 72.5. So yeah, we got 72.
To add to your point too, Obi, is that it's not like the first time we've seen this. Like when you have a space in general that's just been beaten up for so long. Like think about it. Bitcoin's been in a downtrend since last October. So almost 12 months of consistent selling pretty much without any relative strength. You have little sparks that can ignite the flame, and you have
all the buying just shows up one day.
Exactly.
No, I think it's gotta love Bitcoin moves. We talk about some of the best trading historically in all markets has been in unregulated markets, and right now crypto is absolutely. I mean, not right now, of course, over the past I would say 10 years, but you have these periods of time where you get such a banger trades. You could have taken that, I think it was like the 65 to 70K breakout or something like that. It was like a 5K move, or 60 to 65, I think, just a couple of days ago. Easy money, technically sound, technically beautiful, just taking a breakout on something like that. And I was watching some of it happen. Unfortunately, didn't really participate in it, but beautiful opportunities to say the least. Speaking of opportunities, Moderna slowly creeping back up to the upside here. So it's a good thing I got stopped out of my 140 short. I was looking for that 140 to potentially continue to the downside right here. So MRNA is pretty interesting story here on this one. Now, last night when we were doing a little bit of the after show rehearsals, I came up with a graphic for Moderna. Oh yeah, and it's really cool. So I want to kind of show it.
Yeah, pull it up, man.
As well, because I guess going forward we're going to try to be working maybe on some more visuals as well. So this was just my first iteration of potentially what we could be talking about. But I'll get into that in a second. But let's talk about the chart first.
You're going to make us wait now?
Of course, come on. Talk about the chart, talk about the technicals, then we can move on to the story, right? More important stuff first, less important stuff later. So at the end of the day, we are trying to trade here as well, right? So bigger picture story, definitely very, very significant. But Moderna, let's talk about it technically right after we get back from Sia.
Yeah, a couple more comments coming in from Scott Besant here saying that we don't want people to trade headlines in a thin market. We're trying to keep market in equilibrium. The SPY currently bleeding at the moment. And also, he just also mentioned that the US dollar has been stable and we continue to have a strong dollar policy, which when I did check, the dollar was ticking up. Right now is trading around 98.3 and is still up 0.07% on the day. I just want to take a look at the market again. Comments are pouring in right now still as we speak. We have Another comment that's just coming in that I am trying to look at is corporate investment will also boost productivity growth, and on U.S. bonds saying that we would think about companies issuing more 5-year debt.
All right, thank you very much,
More
Sia.
5-year.
Yeah, so Moderna right here. Interesting story about the debt though, but we'll have to see if that brings in any sort of volatility into this market. I'm watching nothing right away on that's really reacting. So let's continue with a little bit of Moderna here. Absolutely beautiful. We talk about a rounded bottom, smiley face pattern, whatever you want to call it. This is kind of one of those, you know. And it didn't give you a lot of time to get into that gap up, right? You had to kind of been building into this. Shout out to Wayne, by the way. He's got 57 calls on this thing. So
on Moderna.
Yeah.
How?
Prior to the news.
How?
I mean, there's technical setups here that are happening that that precede news. Because price almost always precedes news.
How does he? How though?
Just lucky. He got lucky.
Do you know how much those appreciated?
Oh, probably a lot.
Like 4,000%.
Well, maybe not the 50. So the ones that went hundreds of thousands of percent were the $100 calls and the 150 calls and stuff like that. But yeah,
no, they didn't go hundreds of thousands of percent.
Yeah, I saw some of the calls were up like 120,000% overnight with zero DTEs.
There's no way.
No.
No.
Well, maybe it's just some people on X that were trolling. But regardless, let's talk about Moderna, right? Why is this thing doing what it is, right? I was unprepared for this yesterday, so this is a good kind of a rep for me too to kind of pull apart the story and really talk about why it might be doing what it's doing. Absolutely crazy, 175%, guys, yesterday. That's ridiculous, and we're not even in a COVID kind of environment. Right? This is the kind of momentum and volatility that we saw during COVID. But I think the way that this thing has set up, the multi-year kind of a lull where it was just beaten down, couldn't get below this $24 level for over a year, 2025 to 2026, right here. A little bit of a lull, and then you finally start to see a little bit of a pickup come in as well. So I think I really like that. Let's get that volume.
Joby, apparently you're right though, man. A lot of people saying that they did go like 6-figure percentage.
Yeah, I know.
I was looking at some of the calls, like some of them, I was just looking at the 65s from yesterday, 8,000%. Yeah. Angry Wife saying 150,000%. So, man, you're definitely right. I've seen 25,000 as well too. Someone saying, highest was 700,000%.
Yeah, if you took, I think I saw some numbers where if you had put in, I think it's 15K, you would have been up like 90 mil. If you put in 1,000, you would have been up like 6.5 mil, something like that. So congrats to anybody who took that trade.
Like, how do you know that? It's crazy. Even shout out to
you
Wayner
don't.
too.
The thing is, you don't know. The only thing you can do is potentially position yourself in a place to get lucky. I think that's the best thing that you can do. And you can see already the chart was already curling up. The chart was already stepping up, the $50 hold. And something interesting, this is a daily chart. This lull, this 1-year lull, was exactly the same range that we held in 2020. So this is where buyers were before, and guess what? This is where buyers were again, right? Aggressive buyers to say the least, right? So that's last time from this area is where we got all the way up to 497. I think split adjusted or not, I don't know. But regardless, we made that kind of move from this area. So buyers are definitely here. Very interesting story. Now, cancer research, pretty solid. Phase 3 trials, you don't really see that a lot. So that was a bit of an outlier, kind of a catalyst here. On top of that, Joe, the biggest thing I think, I would say if I were to take a gander at like what the buying pressure really came in from yesterday, I would say 50% longs and 50 to 60% just straight up squeeze.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
It was 30. Some of the sources I was looking at, 30% short float. Right? Yeah. And some of those people are not getting out until the open, so they're getting absolutely blasted as well. So I think pretty aggressive move. Wasn't really expecting it to go from 115s, 120s all the way up to 160s, let alone 95s
100%.
in the after hours, but absolute craziness. So this is kind of the graphic that I have up here.
Bitcoin breaking out.
If you guys want to take a look. Now, I want you guys' feedback as well. Is this too busy? Is this something you guys want to be looking at? While on the show, it gives you something to kind of, look into, zoom into while we're talking. So this is kind of the oncology breakthrough that Moderna kind of had yesterday. This was the main news. So what are they kind of doing? Personalized medicine, right? So they're going to be sampling your tumors, doing custom sequencing of your DNA, and then designing specific mRNA to go with your specific DNA, and then manufacturing some. I don't want to say a cure. Cure would be the wrong word, but some sort of medicine to attack some of those cancer cells. So, and then there's delivery as well. And then one of the things that we were discussing on last night was personalized medicine. Yes, absolutely crazy in terms of how the market took it. The market's really enjoying it, but the scalability of such a treatment can pose an issue. And that's one of the things that Moderna and both Merrick have to kind of overcome to really kind of scale this technology. But I think it's really great news. And this is kind of what I've been waiting for. Now, I don't know if there's any sort of hand from AI in this at all. Stock Blitz, nice. I don't know if there's any sort of a hand for AI in this at all, but this is kind of what I've been waiting for. Leaps and bounds when it comes to scientific advancements. Is this it? That's the question I want to ask, right? Is this it? Are we going to start seeing more and more? Now, I also think that we're going to start seeing a lot of small caps try to take this cancer story and try to pump their stock and raise some money on it as well. But leave some feedback. What do you guys think about the graphic? Is it too busy? Does it need to be more simple? I just want to get a quick test from you guys with that. But quick little blurb on Moderna as IBIT makes new highs.
Yeah, Sean's in some Apple as well too. There goes Bitcoin breaking the high of the day, ladies and gentlemen. We tried a little move on MMA. Boom, that didn't work out for us, so we'll avoid this. Man, Bitcoin really, really on the run here. Should have took the advantage. Should have re-entered, but anyways, that shoulda, coulda, woulda. Who's shoulda, coulda, woulda, I should say. Who's involved with this Bitcoin? Put it in the chat there. I'm not seeing anything from a small cap standpoint, ladies and gentlemen, for me to be really attracted to right now. Nor is my scanner really doing what I want it to. For some reason, I think Sharif can confirm this as well, is that it's mixed up. So I would go by volume. Now it's percentage change. UNEH. There's no volume here, and it's at the top of the list. We need to get volume on here somehow. So I do have to mess around for that. BMNR says candlesticks, nice. Yeah, I mean, there it is, guys, ladies and gentlemen, a big-time breakout. This was the move to get involved once again at the lower end of this range. Posted up, tried grabbing it, but I also didn't want to chase price too aggressively here. We'll wait for an additional pullback. Again, polarity, if we run into this 40.90 level, that could be a good opportunity for the continuation in the trend. Considering how beat up the space has been, I wouldn't be surprised if we go on a little bit of a run here. We zoom out, we can see much more, but with much more, we get Juan and Adara over at the desk.
Do you want to know what the Euro segment or the Euro market did at the close? We can find out with Juan, who's here to take us through what looks like an incredibly red session in Europe.
Thank you, Adara. So European markets edging lower as rising oil prices, as well as higher German producer prices, fueled some inflation worry in Europe. So we take a look at the stock 600 right now, down by 0.05%. They're hovering near their two-week lows as retail as well as tech trims balance that of energy gains. Over in Germany, the DAX was also down. Weakness in software and telecom stocks offset that of gains in auto as well as chip makers. We saw Brenntag leading the losses, dropping 3%. That was followed by Rheinmetall, down by 1.7%. Infineon and Continental led gains, gaining by 1% each. Germany's 10-year bund yield is also at a 15-year high amid expectations of increased defense spending. So watch out for that. Over in France, they're currently on a losing streak for an consecutive eighth session, down by 0.41%. Auto stocks led the declines with Stellantis down 4.4% and Renault down by 2%. Luxury stocks in Paris also fell on weakening Chinese demand, carrying down by 3.3%, Louis Vuitton down by 2.4%, and Hermes down by 1.5%. Total Energy is, of course, catching a bid with rising oil prices and also failed negotiations between the US and Iran. Over in the UK, the only sector in the green, mining stocks rallied, especially led by gains in gold and precious metals. Fresnillo up by 4%, leading the tape in the UK, while Endeavour was up by 2% and Rio Tinto up by 0.8%. Oil majors also offset that of some retail liquidation, with BP and Shell gaining more than 2% each. And the biggest laggard in the United Kingdom was that of JD Sports. They led the declines with a 14% drop, reported reduced profit forecast, citing challenging trading conditions. What's interesting to note, though, Goldman Sachs have upgraded the European EPS forecast growth projection from 10% to 15%. Citing strong corporate profits, foreign inflows, and higher capex, especially in sectors such as defense, power, and AI infrastructure. For tomorrow, the European region will be focused on the Eurozone flash PMI, with, of course, the German 10-year Bund yields currently at recent highs, might be putting a little bit of pressure on tech and real estate segments at the open for the European markets tomorrow.
Yeah, and over here in the U.S. or over in the U.S. markets, we actually get some PMI data as well at 9:45 a.m. S&P PMI. So good look there. Check out this space for the Asian market segment with one at 3:30 p.m. In the meantime, back to Joby.
Oh yeah, you're still short that name. I haven't even looked at it today.
130 SpaceX though. 130 SpaceX. I'm short Moderna now.
Yeah.
Off of nice.
Where are you short, Obi?
Not the best Adara. I am short 142.26s.
143.5.
Nice, good entry there. VWAP rejection, right? Prior highs right there. VWAP rejection, kind of similar story. You know, keeping it simple. Where have we seen sellers before since the pre-market? At VWAP, off of the open, at VWAP, after 10 o'clock, at VWAP, after 11 o'clock. Guess what? Has anything changed? You got it, Sean. At VWAP. So, you know, sometimes you don't have to complicate things. I understand trading is hard enough as it is, but sometimes when you just listen to what the market's telling you and not try to get too smart with it, it's perfectly fine. You know, just quick little scalps, and you know, getting out right away when you're wrong as well. I tried the short underneath 140, didn't really work out. Came all the way to 146s, didn't really see it there, but I do want to get involved a little bit here. Let's see if this one works out. I don't know. I'm a little bit impartial as to whether this one works out or not, but something I am watching a little bit closer, guys, is SpaceX, SPCX coming into that 130 level. Maybe not as important as the 135, but definitely important nonetheless. So watching this one, 135 was a little bit interesting. For what reason, you may ask? Going to a higher time frame, you can see right here, prior low from prior week, Friday's low, that was the prior support level, and we broke that today and broke it pretty cleanly, might I add, on the 135 halves for a beautiful continuation into 130. Now 130 is the next support level. A bit of a double bottom here. Not only has it been a support level, this was also that earnings reaction high right at that 130 and some change. We're hitting that level right now. We're testing this area right now. So I'm watching the tape, watching the book, see if the buyers show up again, or is the sell side actually you know, very much in charge, and we're gonna get that breakdown through that 130. Adam James Abroad, thank you very much for the super chat. Obi, any chance you can share a story with us all? Dude, we've been sharing stories all day. You tell me, give me a topic that you guys want to hear about. We can talk about that. Why not? Stock market related or not? The or not will decide if we want to talk about it or not.
Thais Lanes.
What are they saying?
Oh, the donations. You obviously know what's going on with the donation.
Thank you very much for the donation. $69. This lane's nice.
Yeah, all right. Bitcoin, guys. Let's see if we can listen. You guys know I haven't been trading this for quite some time. Yesterday, I do believe. Seriously.
Angry wife is like, how about confluence and reversions?
Yeah. Well,
oh my God. You don't want to get me started.
We don't have enough time.
Joe's like, no, stop. We don't have time for this.
There's not enough time.
I can sit here and give like a 5-hour lesson on confluence.
There's definitely not enough time in the
and
day.
Reversions. We do like a five-day boot camp for reversions. Come on.
You look at, yeah, exactly. Oh man, yeah, no, it's going. You're making me laugh here. We don't have enough time in the day for that. We would have to start at 7:30 tomorrow.
We'd have to start at 4 a.m. actually.
And then just hope there's no earnings. As Webull is putting a new low of the day. Don't forget, guys, next week we do have NVDA earnings as well too. So looking forward to that. I mean, here it is. IBIT. Ozan said he's done for the day. Congratulations to you. Let's see if we can find some. Oh, there it is, right? So again, there's the level that I'm talking about. So so what we've seen on multiple occasions here now is the over-under play. So what was once a pivot and a resistance zone acting as support. Now I'm going to be looking for the exact same thing right here. I don't know why I'm hitting like I'm on TradingView there, Obi. Hitting the keys like I'm trying to draw a trend line. That's not necessarily the case of what we got going on right here. So what I'm going to do is post up at 40.90s. Actually, no, 40.85s to see if we can get an opportunity and catch a fill there. And then the continuation. Why? Because on multiple occasions, I've seen the buying pressure step in, all right? And the volume supporting it, that can give us a little bit more conviction in the direction of the stock. Does it mean that it's going to go that way? Absolutely not. That's not necessarily what we're doing. Just trying to put a probability in our favor, all right? So patience is extremely key. It would have been more ideal because I would have been sitting in this trade still if I posted up at these lows. And then as soon as the volume really started to uptick, guys, so you can see, look at our volume by time profile. Right around as we started to break out, 11:02, 11:03, we've seen massive upticks in the volume, all right? So that means participants are stepping in, they're buying this, sellers are selling at higher prices, they're not willing to let it go at any lower, and sure enough, there it is, $40.90. There is no real massive supply zone. It's only south of $40 here on IBIT. So let's see if we can catch an entry here on Bitcoin, Obi.
Yeah, for sure. Market taking a bit of a pullback here. So watching that as well. A bit of a confluence for anybody who's sitting short in pretty much anything right now. SpaceX being one of them, 130, kind of bouncing off of that 130 a little bit. Didn't quite get all the way down there. So I'm going to be a little patient on this one. But both the ES and the NASDAQ trending a little bit lower. The NASDAQ a lot closer to its day/session. I guess it's already broken down its session low. The SPY or the ES hasn't broken its session low, but I'm talking about this little wiki action right here from 8:30 on the NASDAQ. We're pulling into that low as of right now, just below that 29,250 mark. So let's take a quick look at what may be causing some of this sell-off here. We got NVIDIA coming to the downside right here. I'll pull up a chart just in the middle so we can take a look. The future's right here on the right side of my screen. So NVIDIA breaking down through its lows right here. This is a 15-minute chart, guys. So each bar 15-minute, breaking below prior day's lows and intraday lows now as well on NVDA. So that's the one I'm seeing here out of the Meg 7. That looks relatively, I guess, the most sold off. Let's take a quick look at Meta as well. Meta's kind of selling off as well. Everything else kind of sideways chop, so not really crazy. It seems like the selling is coming in from maybe some other side of the market, and to see that come into fruition, let me just pull up a map here. I did have a market map open earlier, but I guess I closed it. VinFast right here. Boom. All right, so yeah, let's take a quick look at the map here. What's really catching a bid today? You can see here. Oh boy. All right, cool. Seems like it's only gas and maybe some credit services. Yeah, I did have something on Visa earlier this morning that sent me a signal. Interestingly enough, it's one of the ones that's being bid. Computer hardware, STX, SNDK, Micron. So it seems like specifically the memory names getting bid, but chip names like NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, not really catching the same kind of sentiment. AMAT, KLAC also down there as well. But software continues to catch a bid. So maybe it's software that's bringing us up as of right now. But it seems like maybe some of the staples really the cause for the bid and the selling really coming in from majority of the bigger Mag 7 names. So that's where that selling is coming in from. So let's take a look at some of these names that are extremely green on the day, or maybe extremely red as well. Right away, guys, there's a name on here that it might be kind of small for you guys to see on the screen, but I know these guys had earnings yesterday, and that's John Deere. They're up about 9%. Let's take a look at what these guys are up to here. Missed my radar today. DE, John Deere, let's see. Wow, okay, some pretty aggressive. So they had earnings this morning. Sorry, not last night. They had earnings this morning, and pretty decent opening drive on the pre-market high breakout here. So 10%. Not a lot of stocks doing 10% today, Joe.
No, there isn't. It's not like yesterday's scenario here. So I'm just trying to look at I thought it was Wednesday. Yeah, so Wednesday, August 26th, ladies and gentlemen. A little less than a week away at 4:20. We're going to get NVDA with also Salesforce, CrowdStrike, Okta, all reporting after the bell. So that's going to be a pretty star-studded lineup. Looking forward to that one without any form of questioning. Here we go. We're still holding up at this 90s marker, guys. I posted up. I actually removed it from 88. What I'm going to do is go with 85 just below the zone in case we do want to find any form of continuation on today's trend, which I think we have the chance, especially if there's a rotation out of some of these tech names. We'll head over to our watch list momentarily and see what we got going on. To Obi's point, pretty strong session for a couple of names yesterday. I mean, the crypto space, that is. And not necessarily the case. Not too many double-digit winners just yet, but I mean, we still have plenty of time throughout the day. A lot of red. CrowdStrike down another 4% here. So we're now about 15% off of that previous high, the all-time high. A little bit tougher of a look, but hey, guys, we know the narrative of the market. When you go up like this, I mean, what an absolutely monstrous run that you go from $91. So you get your double up more than that. 142%. You're going to see yourself in some form of a pullback here. Now, we're going to get a fill momentarily on IBIT unless it bounces off this level continuously. Yeah.
Already halves
on SpaceX?
A lot of size, yeah.
Okay, all right. A Warner Brothers discovery here as well, too, ladies and gentlemen. But a lot of red over here. SMR, a guy from work, that's his tag in there. I think we just need to avoid it. It's now down to $8. Oh my God, I didn't even know that. That's crazy. Robinhood 94. So this name is stuck kind of in limbo as well. A lot of sideways price action. After it broke down, it just hasn't found its merry way just yet. Crypto picks up, even though we don't like to correlate the two. I think Robinhood is so much more of a platform. But here's CoinL up 13.5%, but that's a leverage product. And then Coinbase up 6%, BMNR up 5%, so starting to fall back. Now, I just don't understand because we look at this as a leverage play. Yesterday, up 13 or 14%. I think around 15 at the highs. Now you're only up 5%, but Ethereum's up 9.5%. I don't know how that's going to work. Now, MSTR is holding up pretty well, still slightly ahead. There's no direct leverage, right? Like you can't say that it's a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1 play. It just moves how it moves. And I don't know if anybody else knows from a correlation standpoint why the ratio can be slightly skewed at times. And please feel free to let me know. But other than that, definitely a quiet one. Let's see if we can catch this order on Bitcoin. Why mark it down? It's a great question. There's probably a couple of headwinds.
Great question.
I mean, at the end of the day, you had some market data step in today as well. Then you have the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. Yeah. You have all-time highs in the in the SPY a couple of days ago. Same thing with the Dow and the IWM running into those areas. The NASDAQ, the only major average that hasn't hit it. So, I mean, at some point, things need to cool down. And it's also the end of summer as well, too. So, market just doesn't always go up.
I think there was that statement by Bassett just a little bit earlier as well, and we saw some of that aggressive selling come in. I guess following that message here as well. So it could be a factor of many different things, but you know, just as a joke, I usually like to say when somebody asks me, you know, why is the market down today? Because like, you know, there's always someone always has a really smart answer. Someone always has, you know, a really simple answer. And the fact of the matter is no one really knows with 100% certainty. But what I am always certain of is why is the market going down? Because there's more sellers than there are buyers. It's pretty much, it's a pretty good reason. What would you say, Neil? Yeah? Pretty valid? I know some things.
How about the lunch too, though, Neil?
How's that lunch going? That looks good. Got the.
What is it?
Is that chicken? Butter chicken? Oh, okay. All right.
Go right down your alley there.
I'll be the judge of that.
Ooh.
Yes. Sia and I will be the judge of the butter chicken. The butter chicken. We can hold down the butter chicken and the biryani tasting.
No,
How
literally,
about
I
that?
think we can. And I can 100% rate it because I think, and this is the one thing that I stand on, is that no one except my mother makes better butter chicken than me.
Yeah, and no one except my mother makes better Hyderabadi biryani. So, so there you go, boom. So I think two good candidates to do the litmus testing on any of the Indian dishes that may be coming through from the caterer. But yeah, no, they did a vegetable biryani at one time. I was like, what is this? Yeah, exactly. It was literally vegetable pulao. I was like, you're literally gonna call vegetable pulao biryani? This is blasphemy. This is a disgrace. Who are you people? Where are you? I will find you. And it's fun stuff regardless. But yeah, that's kind of the funny explanation that I give every now and then. Some of my trader friends hate me for it, because they're like, Obi, can you stop stating the obvious? Of course, there are more sellers than buyers. But I'm like, sometimes the obvious is the best answer.
It's that obvious, though, Obi.
Ed Clark coming in with, Ed Clark, thank you very much for the super chat, saying, sorry for my childish drunk super chat earlier this week.
I don't know.
No worries, man. Maybe some more of those.
Do you remember what it was? I don't even remember. I have no idea what that is. Yeah. All right, hey man, I appreciate the apology and thank you for that super chat. I don't know if anybody remembers. If they do, please feel free to let me know. But yeah,
maybe remind us. Maybe you got to have a couple more drinks.
Don't drink
and then recreate the experience so we know. How about that? Could be something. It's almost Friday.
There you go.
It's Friday somewhere. I think that's how it works, right? No?
Yeah, I think somewhere it's definitely in, I believe.
There was a guy on the floor one time. He was just like, it's like a Monday or Tuesday, and he was just like, it's Saturday somewhere, He was dead serious about it too. It was pretty funny, but
yeah. Well, I mean, that one's
re-educated him about the orbit of the Earth.
Friday in Australia, that's for sure. TSLA, what is Tesla up to here today? We're just sitting in this IBIT trade. Once again, it's slowly starting to work for us. Now let's see if we can get the high of the day. Now my larger order is at the post up below. I'm like, you know what? You're just going to keep just bouncing up. There it is, a strong uptick, Obi. We'll take it. Nothing crazy, but it's better than nothing, that's for sure. So I think at this point we will head towards the high of the day. Just need some more buyers. Oh, as Obi would state, we need more buyers to step in here than sellers in order for us to reach that new pivot high. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. Now, what is everyone looking? What is that? Beer Fest is earlier in the summer in Toronto. I don't know if they have
Oktoberfest.
There's Oktoberfest as well too, but isn't that, I don't know, does it go crazy in Toronto? I don't know.
We have some beer fests around that time, no?
In the middle of the summer, I know there's one at Exhibition Place, which is absolutely fantastic.
There's that Steam Whistle one that happens.
Steam Whistle Brewery?
Closer to winter time.
In the distillery district?
Yeah. Well, no, by the Steam Whistle Brewery, yeah.
Okay, right by the Rogers Center there?
Oktoberfest is on the 25th, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, bang. Okay. Shout out to the greatest month of the year. What are you in there? SpaceX? Let's pull up SpaceX and Tesla.
Yo,
let's go take a look at
my position.
Let's go take a look here. I'll let you focus on that there, Obi, as we pull up SpaceX. SpaceX bouncing off of those lows. And here's Tesla. Let's see how it's been performing. Oh, why'd I type in TSLL? Where's iGrow fighting? Hangry Wife, I don't know. There goes Tesla. Nice rebound here today. Now, I mean, this name has taken some time to recover. Jose and I were both looking at this gap fill break right here, all the way up to 351. And you guys know what trade. I can actually pull it up for you. Obi mentioned this today, and this was the prime example of me saying, hey, you need to listen to what the market is telling you. 350 had a supply zone. Let's see if that's actually still there on Tesla. Instantly rejected, and then it didn't even look back. All right, so just get out when the market is telling you to do so. 21,000 contracts. I think Tesla's going to have some issues breaking that $350 level for the foreseeable future until we start to see that size really start to cool up. Then there might be a ceiling there, on a temporary ceiling, I should say, on Tesla. Webull also finding its bottom here as well too. It'll be at $8.95.
Yeah, for sure. Mike Philip DeRider saying, y'all can't say you ain't ever woke up a little tuned up. I think you mean turned up and still made a pre-market trade. Hey, man, maybe. I don't know. Sometimes you go out partying and, you come back and you trade the the Blue Ocean session and maybe have one of the best trading sessions that you had. And then you wake up in the morning hungover and then you maybe don't have as great of a session, which makes you question, is it the hangover or is it the drunkenness that makes you have the bad decisions in trading?
It's the I don't care. It's the I don't care meter.
It's the I don't care mentality. Yeah, I know.
Dude, when you have more drinks, you just.
I mean, if you're very really risk risk averse, then maybe I don't know. Certain drugs can definitely help, but no recommendations of drinking.
What did you say?
No drinking and driving. No drinking and trading as well. But funny stuff, Michael P. DeRider. Clearly, you obviously are speaking from experience. So
no, not my P.
We will continue to talk about this here market here. I'm just reading the chat. Who's Chris Collinsworth? I have no idea who that is. But apparently he states the obvious.
What's that?
So,
What's the obvious?
They're comparing me to him, Chris Collinsworth. I don't know. I'm not good with Collinsworth, former American football player. Okay, yeah. See, that's probably why I don't know him, because he's a famous football player.
Yeah, he's in all the Madden games. I don't know if he played. He might have played way back in the day, but
he probably did like commentary after.
I don't know if he's retired. Yeah, but he's definitely the most iconic NFL commentator. That's for sure. A lot of people say he's trash. Yeah, he's just an announcer. Listen, I grew up on Chris, and Neil would know his buddy that he was always with there. I grew up on those two, watching the NFL Network and playing NFL. All the teams. Anyways, aside from that, he was a former. He never played. Okay, a little bit of a mixed bag. That's irrelevant. Why? Because we have the market right now. We're down 1.6% on Tesla. Amazon negative as well, too, ladies and gentlemen. But I mean, we did have an insane run after that earnings report. But you're down 8% off of those all-time highs. That's not anything to really panic about, I believe, at these levels. Now, Artemis, I know you've been saying this for quite some time in the chat, that you think Netflix should buy TKO. I don't know if they would be willing to sell because it's owned by Endeavor Group, I'm pretty sure. And then also you have the WWE and you have Power Slap involved with that now, and you also have the UFC. I just think those entities don't need to be bought or are willing to be bought out unless maybe when Dana decides that he wants to step down and retire. I think that could be a definite maybe an option, but I just don't see that happening, to be honest with you. And we know with Netflix, if they don't get the price that they want, they're out of Dodge. $5 super chat. Love Trader TV, Joe and Obi. Would you prefer IBIT or gold for upside? Good to see you back, Obi. That's a fantastic question. I'll give my 2 cents here, and then we'll let Obi do the exact same thing. Now, I think it's really important to note, look what your risk. Now, again, I've been saying this for the past little while. Hindsight has really good vision, okay? Now, if you look at things from a risk to reward standpoint and say you've been getting involved in this accumulation phase here, your risk to reward is pretty good, right? And then look at this upside movement. We're not having back-to-back days, a pretty strong price action in Bitcoin in a space that has just been getting beaten to a pulp for the past 12 months. Now, we'll head over to gold, and is that the same narrative? It's pretty close, right? Again, it depends, and I mentioned this multiple times in the chat, that if I was going to get involved in more Bitcoin, don't forget I still have a lot of holdings. It's still up there in my largest percentage of holdings. I don't think I would go the IBIT route or the actual asset itself via a crypto exchange. I would look to own some MSTR. Right? Like get that leverage aspect, because if we're changing the tide in Bitcoin, then I may as well use a leverage product where there's actually no decay, which is massive when it comes to using some of these leverage products. I don't know how you feel about that, Obi.
Yeah, so IBIT versus gold, again, not going to be giving any sort of financial advice here. I'm just going to tell you what I personally prefer. Now, my risk appetite, my account, my trade style, everything is going to be, subject to me. That's just my perspective. That's how I like to, deal with my perspective of the market and my transactions with the market. So I'll speak on that. But yeah, no, Bitcoin, nice little base here. I like this kind of similar charts here. Nice little base. So I do like where Bitcoin is coming off of, but just because of the volatility, I personally, if I'm going to be picking something, I'm going to be like, okay, well, what is gold looking like? Now, this is a weekly chart. What is gold looking like on the weekly? You can see here 4,000 base, 4,000 base. This is giving me a more clearer place to risk, which is more important for me. So I can risk here on the chart. Therefore, I personally prefer this one. Now, there's a lot of vehicles that I can use if I want to trade gold. There's the miners don't really move with it as well, but there are some other vehicles on gold. But yeah, so that's my little my opinion, my little 2 cents on that one, gold versus BTC. But my trading time on BTC would be very, very short. I'd say a few days to a couple weeks at most.
Of holding it?
Of a holding. But yeah, it's 12 o'clock, guys. We'll send you guys off for Neil's lesson of the day. But first, see ya. What's up?
See ya.
Let's take a look at the markets and what they're doing before we dive into happening now. So you've the SPY that is down, closing to 0.5% mark. The triple Qs are down over 0.5%, 0.65 to be precise, and the Dow is down, inching closer to 8% for the day. Let's take a look at two things I want to talk to you about. First of all, Merck. MRK, so TD Cowen has put a hold rating on Merck despite yesterday's news that the company's cancer vaccine succeeded in a large trial. Also, Steve Scala at TD Cowen has written in a note to clients as of today saying that success is not unduly surprising given strong phase 2 data, but positive results serve as validation, but breadth of potential still is unknown. Therefore, TD Cowen has a price target of $137 on the stock, MRK, compared to yesterday's closing price of $152.20. Also, additionally, WBD and PSKY here. California Attorney General Rob Bonta has told CNBC as of today that the group of states suing to block PSKY's acquisition of WBD will require, quote-unquote, robust structural remedies to reach a settlement in the antitrust case. That's all for your happening now, but before we send it back to the Midday Madness, let's send it to Neil for his lesson of the day.
Thank you, Sia. And because I'm a kind of a bio guy, I have to throw in there, they might have to pay that ticking fee, those states, and there's precedence for that, because if the deal doesn't close, the WB deal, by October, I think it's October 1st, there's literally a ticking fee per day that they get paid out. So it's actually a pretty safe deal, which is fantastic. Like Warner Brothers gets 1% per month, which is, that could add up if it's over the course of a year. So Paramount Skydance wants to make sure they don't have to pay that. But the lesson of the day is, it's going to be about a phrase you hear a lot of times. Like you actually hear it in different contexts. Like, oh, let's be specific. Sean will say, I'll be specific in a trade, or I'll say, waiting for a specific price or a specific type of entry. And you have to remember that to each person that might mean different things. So, or being patient, like it might mean different things. To me, being patient doesn't always mean sitting out the opening range. It could be, I'm looking at 5 different things. If one happens, I'm only going in for that trade, and for better or for worse. Or it could mean I'm waiting to execute at a key price level or a specific setup. And you know what? Like today, I think it was almost a perfect example. I was determined to still wait for the breakout trade on DRAM. But this time, unlike yesterday, which I think it's a weird one, because you wouldn't have heard me say anything about having a perfect day yesterday, because all I could think about was pegging the level on DRAM and not being short off of a resistance level. I was only thinking breakout in my head. So it's like, yeah, winning trade here, winning trade there. But then what was probably the best potential trade of the day, and that's how I am on myself, it's like that was the best potential trade of the day, and I didn't have it. So I don't really care how the rest of my day went. If what set up, I knew the right level, I just didn't have the right direction. So today we do wait for the stock to get to that price, to short it into VWAP, even after like an idiot misplacing my stop, punching in and out flat, and then just jumping back in, pay a little bit of fees. And not the best entry the second time through, but being specific to me wasn't only trading it once, it was waiting till that specific price to get into position. The other thing that it's obvious that it should be able to mean, in my opinion, is if you know what it is that you need to see to trade, then make sure you're doing that. And I know for sure, yesterday Moderna was, it's a little unprecedented. Like, it's the kind of thing where you'd see stocks doing this during like the meme craze. 2020, you saw a lot of that during COVID, where you'd have a stock that was as absurd as Moderna. And ultimately, you look at a chart like that and everyone's like, oh, dreams come true. What I also know is a stock doing that much volume with that much movement, and I've seen it time and time again, subject to over trading. You get all the kinds of FOMO in your eyes that, oh, if you're a reversion trader, like let's just say right here, like at 10 o'clock when it's in front of the 150, like VWAP is $25. That's googly eye stuff if you're looking for a reversion. When it's bouncing into VWAP, you're like, oh, if it bounces back into the high, that's $25. Like you're going to start seeing huge opportunities everywhere, and that can get you out of pocket over trading, maybe risking too much, and then it's not always the best thing for a day trader. Sometimes like that kind of a thing is better for like a swing trader mentality or options traders. But if you're being specific about it, at least have a notion of what it is that you wanted to see. Now, admittedly, I know what I wanted to see yesterday. I didn't get a VWAP trade. I didn't even touch this sucker yesterday. I was able to get NVAX a couple of times because that actually set up shorts. It was, if it fails VWAP, I can't price this thing, but I'll treat it like a gapper. If it fails VWAP, I want to short it. Give me a short setup off the volume weighted average price. It didn't give it yesterday, obviously not. And then today, I did miss at 10 because we were looking at other things, and that was so fast off the volume weighted average price. It's a difficult entry because it wicks up. Unless you're just sitting there waiting to get run over, which is a difficult thing on Moderna, it's not my style, you almost can't get into this. However, when it comes in and you know what it is that you're looking for, it's a failure at the volume weighted average price. That's a tricky entry on a 3-minute. It's a topping tail wick that goes up to 149. By the time it's already $4 or $3-4 back in there. Like, to me, some people are all about it, short 144, give it that room and try to scalp that into the bottom. That's not for myself. I'm looking for that higher probability. Okay, show me there's a false break, right? And the next candle, topping tail at the same high, and then we close with a wick top failing exactly at these prior bars on the 3-minute. Like that's what I'm looking for. I didn't see anything that I liked on Moderna yesterday, so didn't trade it, didn't want to get caught over trading. Missed the one chance it came to VWAP, but when it gives you a more traditional VWAP set, right there, and then right there for the scalp trade. And again, it's just it doesn't really matter what because your style could have been, I just want a flat bottom break on Moderna, and then maybe 150 was your jam. Or you wanted to just sit in front of VWAP and give it $5. I actually don't, it doesn't matter what you were looking for. But if it was something very specific for an entry strategy, it helps you to avoid when a stock has this profile, completely over trading it, having like 10 trades when maybe you should have 1, 2, or 3. And then what happens is if you have 10 trades instead of 1, 2, and 3, you might have 1 or 2 fantastic ones, but it's like the other 6 or 7, what the heck are we doing moments, and then all of a sudden you're not making money on it. And that's what happens to a lot of traders. Over time, in 20 years, you would be surprised on a prop floor how often there'd be a stock like this, and it's like everyone's all frustrated with it. Unfortunately, that's just how it happens to be. So, I don't care what specific means to you as a trader. I just feel like it has to mean something. Either when I'm trying to trade in a certain direction, this is the setup entry that I want, this is the indicator, this is what has to align for me. Or it could mean this is the price that I want to trade, this is the indicator or trend line, whatever. It just has to be something that gets you away from over trading. Because oftentimes that is the death keel, especially when you have FOMO-ready stocks like Moderna, ready to make you think every trade is going to be the greatest trade of the year. It's possible. That's the kind of stock it was yesterday. But it really does lead to over trading, and a lot of people succumb to it. So, yeah, just make sure specific means something to you. I would give you guys a grade. I would tell you what I feel about the butter chicken, which I've only finished half my meal, then I had to come do the lesson of the day. But I just heard that I'm not allowed to say anything about the butter chicken because the only people that can grade the butter chicken are Sia and Obi. They're the only ones that are allowed to give the opinion. And for the life of me, I can't really figure out why that is true. Like, what is it? I don't know. What you guys tell me, I'm not really sure. What is it about Sia and Obi that makes them, you know, the more qualified than the rest of us on butter chicken? I don't know what it is.
I never said that. You're more than welcome to give your opinion.
Well, I'm just trying to figure it out, Sia, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is. You know, because everyone can give their opinion on jerk chicken, right, Joe? I don't say that only Joe and I can talk about jerk chicken. I don't say that. I'm just saying. So I'm not gonna grade it. It may or may not be good. We'll throw it back to the midday. I'm just messing around. I'm sure they legitimately know way more about butter chicken than I do. I just think it's always tasty, so I have no clue. Peace out. Good luck the rest of the day, everybody.
Obi,
thank you very much, Neil.
Game your game, brother.
Game my game.
Yeah, I like that saying,
Yes.
man. Game your game. Yeah, 120%, almost 121%. We're halted tapped now at $4. We're halted at $3.91. Bubin, I know you're going to hit the boom. Congratulations to you. I don't know if you've been trading this MPD, but who I haven't seen in the chat here today? KC526, where you at? All right, I just hit my 95th halt on the year. Game your game. Yeah. All right. Hey, you know, the fact that you actually
someone's a trader.
Yeah. And the fact that you document that is absolutely amazing. So yeah, there you go, 95th halt of the year. And how many more months do we have to go there, Obi? So I think there's going to be plenty of more to come. Oh, and I was actually reading a bit yesterday that small caps, now let's not get too ahead of ourselves here, all right? Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Small caps tend to outperform the market in the month of October. Don't shoot the messenger, all right? I understand that in Sparta, even a messenger is accountable for his words. But at the end of the day, you know what that's from, Obi?
Of course.
Okay, all right, good. We're open now, guys.
300.
Yeah, 100. There it goes. It's probably going to go here. Okay, I got to get it out this quick. Now, you see how we opened up a bearish candle? By any chance, if we don't halt down here, and this, I think we're too far gone at this point, but if this candle turns from red to green, there's a good chance that it continues and then decides to go on a little bit of a run. It might do it here, Obi. I'm too slow on the keys for this right now, but let's see if that's gonna happen. Red to green, there it goes. Let's see if you get any form of continuation, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Now you're gonna see some more movement here potentially, unless it completely breaks down. But look at the immense, you're not plugged into Unity there, Obi. Assassino, he said, yeah, man, you better watch out now. But no, in all seriousness, guys, a lot of volume stepping in, selling pressure stepping in here. So be cautious on this one. Game your game. Definitely going to make you step up your game here today, just in case. Guys, be careful because we know how these can run at sometimes. This gap may potentially be filled. You have the tap up. Now you're starting to bleed a little bit here. Up once 120%, now back down to 86% positive.
Yeah, absolutely wild there. So shout out to, was it Mike? Philip the writer, I think.
Yeah, MPD, man.
He was the one. Yeah, I mean, buddy, you were already into that initial halt, so I'm gonna assume you got in maybe like twos, maybe on this, maybe you're part of some groups that potentially are doing some of this volume. I don't know, So I don't really like to. You guys already know. I don't really like to trade these that often, especially I would say, especially on the show. Just due to some of the underlying market mechanics, because some of them have very low floats, and literally, even a beginner trader with a few $100,000 of buying power can move some of that stuff around pretty aggressively. So, what's up, Adira?
But I thought halt bands would make a dance. I thought that's what the halt bands did. Come on.
Yes, that's that is very true, and that's something you only see on the small caps. But no, only dancing when I'm stuck in those halt bands, in the right direction, right? Big smile here coming in with
no, man, ignore this
super
guy.
chat.
Ignore this guy.
Why?
No.
Wait, ignore him? Why should I ignore him?
No, I'm only joking. It's Spile. We don't want to give him too much attention. We don't want to give the bullies too much of it.
What, has he been bullying?
Has he been?
Has he been bullying?
Dude, I can't go a day without this
You guys
guy
are getting bullied?
a little bit.
You guys are not standing up for yourselves?
Ignore him. No,
Come on, bro.
Byron Harbor. I'm
Come on.
being sarcastic.
You gotta tell the teacher
Understand
or
the
something.
tone of the voice.
If
Are you ready?
in the sun soon.
I'll let you
Be able to. Can I read it? It's appropriate to read, right? Okay. That's all. That's what I'm.
All right,
making sure.
you can read it. Yeah.
All right, cool. So if Joey doesn't get out in that sun soon, he's only gonna be able to give his opinion on saltine crackers. I hope Sharif got his sleepy time on the plan. No one wants a grumpy boy. Big smile. I've definitely missed a big smile for sure.
He definitely
Blunder Corp
likes to give me a hard.
Thank you again for the super chat. Blunder Corp coming in saying, Obi, how do you handle the backside relative to the front side?
I don't know.
So this is a good question.
There you go.
It's a great question, actually. Now, it's the thing is you have to be very nuanced, right? Front side versus backside, similar stuff, similar kind of price action. Some would say you just got to flip it upside down and take it from the other side. So it's the same thing, flipping the chart upside down. A lot of people talk about that. It's funny, it's a joke, but I think that
was crazy.
I think there might be a mouse somewhere in the studio. I'm hearing squeaks.
Let me wipe my forehead.
But yeah, so
we love you. I love you
on
too.
Walmart. I lost track of my thoughts there. But okay, so seriously, to answer the question, in all seriousness, how do I deal with the front side versus backside on an actual trade? Let's take a quick look. How about you give me an example of a V-shaped reversion that has a clear front side and a back side, and we can talk about that as well. But I'm not really seeing any V-shaped recoveries just right now. I guess MRNA. You know what? MRNA is right there. There's a bit of a V right there, right?
Let me hop on this GY. We took a scalp on this bad boy.
Talk about the GY.
I'll save you here. We don't want to dig ourselves any deeper of a hole. But anyways, in all seriousness, $3.65, $3.65, all the way up to $3.85. I was looking for that high of the day break, but we weren't fortunate enough to get that. Bob, I know you're talking about getting involved once again at $3.90, but I would rather catch the lower end of the range. All right, so that's what we waited for, was price action to actually turn around, the tape displayed for us to get in, and then we just, again, in and out. That's kind of my new system on these, Obi, is that when they display their setup, I take the money and I run. I understand you can miss out on some continuation, but that's not the narrative. Sorry to interrupt you here, but my next potential trade here would be identifying strength in the time of sales at the break of the high of the day, at that 390 marker. Well said, Bubin. Thank you very much for that one. I know Adam James is involved with it, and once again, I haven't seen Casey or Tisha in the chat today. Are you going to be looking to get involved with Game Your Game here? This might be one of my favorite ticker names of all time now, Obi, to be honest with you. Game Your Game, because I'm all about that. Maybe I'll use that once I'm back on the skates. There it goes. Let's keep our eyes on the time and sales, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to go crazy heavy from a size standpoint. Just a scalp. Wow, and just like that, look at that rug pull from $3.80 all the way back down to the lower end of the range. And be cautious of this one.
Yes, sir. So, okay. Front side, back side. I'm looking across a few different recent stocks. Moderna shows up right away. This is still, I would still technically say it's front side of the move. We haven't really broken below the reference or the opening range low of day one of the catalyst. So bigger picture, definitely a little bit of a front side. You guys throw up some stocks in the chat, and something that did a V-shaped recovery on an intraday. Well, let's keep it to intraday. I can already think of ones on the daily and the weekly, but throw those up. We'll be right back from SIA.
The IWM is currently down 1.2%. Let's take a look at two individual tickers. You have CDNL, that is Cardinal Infrastructure Group, that is down over 4.5% and over market cap of $1.98 billion. They reported earnings. Strong organic growth has driven a 114% year-over-year increase in the second quarter revenue. Adjusted EBITDA up 43%, and backlog has now climbed 35% to $866 million. And at the same time, you have 2026 2026 guidance that has been raised between the range of $880 to $900 million. Secondly, let's take a look at KSS, that is Kohl's Corporation. Now, the company is set to report before the bell on the 26th of August, but their earnings estimates are now out. So let's take a look at that. Revenue estimate at $3.32 billion and EPS anticipated at 58 cents. The ticker is now down over 9%.
All right, there. Kohl's.
Yeah. That thing came right back into $3. I'm still looking for stocks. You guys haven't been leaving many in the chat. Joey saying Intel maybe. Keep on throwing up some stocks. We'll take a look at them, and then I'll genuinely go in and be like, all right, this is how I look at reverting and being on the right side of the move here. But right now we got some housekeeping, guys. VFS, that's VinFast. They reported a strong Q2 momentum, delivering more than 70,000 EVs globally. That's up 96% year over year. First half deliveries reached nearly 129,000 vehicles, and that's up 78%, reinforcing the company's growth trajectory across its expanding EV portfolio. By mid-year, VinFast had already achieved approximately 43% of both its 2026 four-wheel and two-wheel delivery targets, putting the company firmly on track across both growth engines. That's our friends at VFS.
Here goes again, Obi. Be careful.
Yeah, I don't know if it's done just yet, but yeah, I'm still looking. I'll take a look at that Intel as well. You know what, Baba? I like Baba. Baba's going to be one of them. Baba's going to be one of them. The Toon Guru Vault. Thank you for the super chat. She's so fly. Who?
No lie.
We ballin'?
You know this.
You know this. All right, so maybe Baba, Intel, someone said. Let's take a quick look at Intel. Okay, perfect, yeah, boom, Intel. Intel is great, I would say. Intel, nice little V-shape recovery. The thing about Intel, though, it is very, very choppy, and it can be pretty aggressive, and I would say predatory in its price action because it gets a little wicky around the extreme. So if you're kind of risking to an extreme of a pivot point, on Intel, I think the likelihood of getting chopped up if you're risking too tight is pretty high, but it's my opinion. Okay, so let's say front side, back side here. This is a little bit different. The front side here is going down, and then the back side, or the right side of the V, if we kind of draw like a V shape here, is bidding up, right? So you can have that at the other way as well, where the front side is bidding up and the back side is selling off. So keeping it simple, front side on this specific move, again, nuanced to the sell-off, is going to be just keeping it very, very simple, going to be dictated by lower highs and lower lows, right? Opening range, sellers still in charge very much. Where is the distinctly different action that comes in that really shows that, okay, maybe now buyers might be stepping up? How do we confirm that the backside of the move or the right side of the V is in? Where there's a lot of different things that you can kind of use, right? So I would say this is pretty bearish when you're selling off a VWAP, when sellers step in on VWAP. It's pretty bearish when sellers break pre-market lows. It's pretty bearish when sellers break opening range lows as well.
There we go.
But there's a little bit of a distinct difference right here. On the break of opening range low, this is a 1 minute chart, you can see right here a beautifully tall volume candle. Candle right there. Right there on the chart. So the volume definitely when you have a V shape, when you have a turnaround from a transition from front side to back side, a volume signature is usually very, very ideal. It's almost you almost want to see it. Now there are certain scenarios where it doesn't necessarily have to be there and it kind of just like curls over, and that's a little bit different. But this is one of the scenarios where, you know, the turn did come in off of a volume spike. Right? But that's just the first sign. I'm not really being like, all right, I see the volume, I see the flush, maybe we've capitulated, this is right side immediately. I'm not really thinking like that. Where has price action started to act distinctly differently?
Okay.
And I think that's a little bit after we start getting past that volume signature where you're the first time, Joe, in the day, you actually start making higher highs and higher lows and you start to trend higher. You reclaim VWAP, and now we're kind of consolidating on top of VWAP. So relative to the morning drive, we are on the backside of that move specifically. So you definitely have to be very specific as to what you're referring to. Bigger picture, we're still kind of in a downtrend from over the past couple of days because bigger picture, we're still making lower highs and lower lows on an intraday on a daily chart. So that's what I mean by being a little bit nuanced. What frame are you really looking at? If I'm scalping a reversion and I'm saying that this long on Intel is the backside of the move relative to the opening drive, I also have to keep in mind that bigger picture, we are in a downtrend, so bigger picture sellers are in charge. So I can't expect this to blow through the opening range high and then break through some crazy levels. I can't get in long at 90 halves being like, oh, this is going to go to 100 now, right? That doesn't make sense. It has to be relative to the opening drive. So we've recovered over 50%. We reclaimed VWAP and kind of chopped around. So I would probably be, out of most of this position if I did take the long and leave a runner because it is still showing me that buyers may be in charge. So that's a quick little spiel on that one. And it seems like you've been gaming your game this whole time.
I've been gaming the tape.
How's that game been going?
It's all right, man. I mean, we've been gaming the tape game that is Obi and just trying to listen to what the time and sales is telling us here. And again, I'm not doing anything crazy from a size standpoint, but we take an additional scalp, right? And I'm just getting based off of the strength in the time and sales. Now, the next potential trade on this one is going to be at the break of the high of the day, all right? So let's see what we got going on. You might have that additional wave step in, and then now we punch through. There was a good opportunity because clearly we can see it. There's a $3.40 buyer. That's working out pretty well for this individual. Now we want to see these clean flushes. There it is. Now we want to punch through. This is what we're looking for and we're trying to identify when it comes to reading the tape. So some strong flushes, and you don't want to see too much defense. If it decides to go absolutely insane, that's just even more confirmation that you can use to back your bullish thesis. Now, you don't want to get too caught up in certain things, like you can see how we defended. Now, where's the strength going to step in? Are we going to continuously reject this $3.80 marker, or is that next wave of participation going to step in and we punch through that $4 level? I think there could be a potential trade to be had there. Now, my boy Gorev saying, Joey, take a look. Joseph, he actually called me. Prefer that, but anyways, it is what it is. Here, bang, nice move off of those lows. NVDA, nice little print. I'm sure you're long off of this 5-minute candle there, so congratulations to you. I seen that we were down to 215.68. I'm like, oh, I didn't hit the buy trigger in the personal account, but no, I do believe at some point we're gonna head into 214.89 and potentially fill this gap. Listen, we're next Wednesday after the bell is when we're going to be reporting earnings. We're a little bit less than a week away from trading sessions. For me, I would like to see some more buying pressure step in relatively soon, and I'm talking tomorrow. Like if we don't see buyers step in and then Monday and Tuesday, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pretty ugly here in NVDA. But with that being said, if I'm thinking one way, who knows what's going to happen in the other. The float is still massive. I still stand in that camp that they need to really ramp up their buy program. Who was it? Chris Arthur. Chris Arthur, you and I were having the conversation, and I enjoyed it. You said you would rather see the company continuously invest in others. I said, hey, never mind the dividend. Let's increase our share buyback program, just like Apple did with $100 billion. So I think that's the next step for Jensen and company, even though we are still in the midst of this full build out. Anything can happen, and also heading to the debt markets as well too. So I mean, there's multiple things that we can take into factor. We'll pay attention to the report. We'll go through it like a comb essentially, and make sure we don't miss anything in which the street may react to. Fine-tooth comb, I think, is what I was looking for there. $3.36. Let's see if we get this move. It's been choppy here, guys. And now I haven't been trading Bitcoin, but we're starting to form a shelf, which I'm not in love with. Even though polarity here, holding that level, what was once resistance, clearly acting as support here, ladies and gentlemen. So keep an eye out on that one. Let's stick with game your game because it has been gaming for us here today, Obi.
Yeah, dude. While you've been gaming your game, Moderna is kind of getting a little gamed here, but we'll talk about it right after we get back from Adara, who I know is still in a little bit of a short. So shout out.
Thank you. I got out at 136-ish, full transparency. So yeah, 143.5 to 136. Definitely got out a bit early, but not going to complain about it. This MRNA though, yeah, right now at 133s. I did not find any news on that spike. I checked. If there is an offering, I'm not seeing it on social media, and it's definitely not on Benzinga. Social media is just a lot of people being like, oh, it's down, whatever. Like, there's nothing concrete to this. But if I do get any information, I'll keep you posted. The reason I wanted to talk to you guys, though, and thank you, Obi, for the shout out, I appreciate that, is RTX and BA, LMT, all these defense plays. Keeping an eye on these defense plays and getting a report suggesting that the Pentagon is cracking down on defense contractor costs, specifically targeting profit margins. Now, this is not shocking. At the start of this year, we're talking like pre-January 10th, 2026, President Trump got on Truth Social and targeted defense companies saying that they're basically, that the salaries are too high for their executives and they need to be building more in the U.S. and trying to, I guess, get the U.S. more defense products. So all of these names at day's lows, not really much of a reaction here, but I think this is a story that it continues to be interesting and one worth keeping an eye on.
Thank you very much, Adara. Yeah, no, I think bit of a big miss for me from Moderna there. As you guys know, I was sitting short, and I was just like, oh, why did this thing just punch me out? And I think I accidentally put in a cover for the rest of the position because I just had it queued sitting, waiting to kind of punch. My fault. But yeah, I was short 142s, crack of 140, 138s, day low breaking at 136s, and now we're at 132s. Come on, guys, 130s on the horizon as of right now. Potentially, we've basically kind of recovered over 50% of a decent chunk of yesterday's move there on Moderna, making some fresh lows. Are we going to see that 130 today? I am definitely extremely unhappy for not holding this short. No real bounce either, no real relief. And once again, shout out to those swing shorts, man. Oh my God, y'all are printing on some of those weekly puts. But this is absolutely wild here. 130's back in. Where will we find a bid on Moderna, man? Cheese and a chair. Thank you very much for the super chat saying there's some interesting sell-off stats about options expiration dates close to midterm elections. Tomorrow may be interesting. What do you have to say about that, Joe? Any interesting stuff on that?
Yeah, we can take a look at it momentarily. I didn't see anything crazy. Yeah, Chris Arthur, no, I think we both have valid points, which I was about to type in the chat. Much easier said than typed, I guess. We can use that phrase. But all right, yeah, let's pull up. I mean, who knows? We'll go over to the overall market, right? We'll take a look at the NASDAQ and the SPY and see if there's any open interest, and if there is substantial amounts, then what we can do is just be like, hey, we can justify or we can use from a probability standpoint that we might not go any higher here today. There goes game your game, Obi. It is breaking down and south of the volume weighted average price as the market all around looks like it wants to take an additional leg lower. But I mean, we've seen this before, right? Market sells off and then just absolutely goes insane. Brian Shannon and I were discussing this the other day. It's like, okay, you drop 10%, and the next thing you know, in the span of a month or so, you're up 20% from that pivot low. So again, I would prefer if the market sold off a little bit more. That would give us some good buying opportunities. Clearly, this is going to be a resistance zone at $720. Now, how is that came into factor today? We can see with around the high of the day or yesterday's session. No coincidence there. You can see 121. There was a little bit of a zone, but even in the post market, 721 and 719 most definitely. We'll take a look at the SPY because it'll have the most contracts, which I think we can be able to identify maybe a couple of more things here. Say, hey, this is where our potential ceilings are. But considering there is, like when you see 3,000 here, and the open interest is what I'm referring to, 5,000, 3,000, 30,000 is something that I would be keeping an eye on. Where is our high of the day? 769. Where's our pre-market high? Oh, 769.29. So unless this is absorbed, this is clearly a supply zone that keeps pressing. Like you have the hedge fund step in and we push price lower. But I still don't believe that it's enough to change the complete narrative. Now, here's a massive, like this name at one point was just surpassing so many other contracts. 217.5s is another supply zone. So Ozan would be looking at this level to say, hey, we're going to be chilling south of this. Now, we'll go over to an expiration date that is going to be correlated or relatively close, I should say, with the earnings report. 240, definitely not going to be in the works, but anything can happen. You can see that's where we have the most amount of size, and it's relatively small compared to what we've seen before in past reports in regards to NVDA. Like, I remember 2 or 3 quarters ago, you would see hundreds of thousands of contracts, and every time it just continuously rejected. All right. So, and this is when we were in this kind of accumulation phase. Boom. Just we weren't doing anything. And after the report, it would be immediately pushed down. So you traded it within this range here. And this is why, again, I don't know if it necessarily plays a major factor. So you can see that we were trading within this $25 range, right, Chris Arthur? For me, just because it's the largest float in the market, I would like to see some of that absorbed, why it gives the company more control, and then you don't have so much of this push and pull. So before Apple actually upped its buy program, look what happened. Now, there was a couple of headwinds. You have the antitrust with them and Google, but you notice through intraday price action, it takes so much capital to move the underlying asset that at some point, to me, Apple was blacklisted from day trading on a day-to-day basis because the volume scanner would always hit, always had over 1 million shares. And NVDA was doing the exact same thing. So that's why I want this float to be compressed at some point, sooner rather than later, for personally as a shareholder. Why? Because when you have companies doing these massive programs, at times, they have to go out onto the open market, and what does that mean? Capital appreciation. I'm not here to chase yield. Like, I love collecting a dividend. It's great, but capital appreciation is the bigger gain at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think when it comes to dividends, I always kind of talk to people like dividends are great. Building a dividend portfolio.
I'm not going to say no to. I'm not going to say no.
It's solid. It's solid, but it's like how do I perceive personally dividends? If I'm like, hey, I don't want to work. I kind of want to retire. I don't really want to just have. I want to have passive income. I want to use derivatives. Not derivatives. Dividends to kind of achieve that. How I see that is like, okay, if my expenses and I'm like, if I want to live comfortably in the year, I want to get paid around $250,000. And then you would have to go in and look into all of the dividend stocks and be like, how can I build a portfolio that'll actually pay me back $250,000 a year? And how much is that going to cost me? That's probably going to cost you at least a few $1 million. I'd say about 3 to 5, depending on how you kind of push into that. So it's like if you want to chill, do nothing, make $250K a year, it's going to cost you, I would say, again, don't quote me on this. This is just a random number, but it's going to cost you like under $5 million, right? That's how I kind of see that the whole dividend investing perspective, kind of building.
And don't forget,
that end game.
Don't forget, companies can pull their dividends too. If they're not performing, they can pull it, right? They can be okay. So at one point, and then by that point, the chances are the performance of the stock itself, your X amount of million isn't that anymore, and you're like, okay, yeah. We were collected that dividend, but there was capital depreciation there. Let's take a look at Netflix. Up 6%. Short float says Adam James. I have this one, but there's no real volume. 5 minutes just halted right away. We'll get into some more detail. Then we'll pop over to what Gourav's got going on. Okay, nice ABCD pattern here. Now halted at $2. We'll figure out what the tap is momentarily, or do I feel like telling Adam what the tap is? I'm sure you can find it another way, but. Netflix, yes, Gaurav, don't think I forgot. Let's take a look at Netflix. How has Netflix been performing today? I sold my whole stake, and stake is crazy because I think that means I would have such a significant, like maybe when I hear someone sold their stake in it, I think like you had a pretty large percentage, not my, anyways, you guys understand what I'm getting at. But yeah, Netflix, not too bad of a day, especially off of that low. Oh, okay, I like what you got going on. Double indecision right here, bang, off to the races. And then sure enough, $80.44. If there's anything specific that you guys want to go over, SSPC, so that SpaceX short that you were talking about not too long ago, still looks like it's working right now. Obi, is this going to be a good opportunity to buy a little more? I'm going to avoid this name right now because you can see this is clearly a breakdown pattern. There was a $151 supply zone, couldn't break through it, That was correlating with this one. Like, look at this over-under play, man. The polarity there is absolutely insane. So, yeah, crazy stuff. 150.47. There was a lot of open interest on the options chain. We're now trading $20 lower than that level. Let's see if we can maybe grab a little bit more. Let's send it over to Adair.
Lots happening in the market today. Let's take a look. SPY currently down 0.37% to be precise. Sectors, electric tech right off the bat, Broadcom, Apple, and NVIDIA flat. And when you compare to tech services, Meta, Palantir, Netflix, IBM, Microsoft also flat. But in electric tech, you have strength in Micron today. It's up close to 2%. AMD, Intel sliding a bit, GE, RTX as well. You have SCX that was up 3% a bit earlier. Now it's 2.5%. SNDK Marvell also up 2% and 1.5% respectively. You have tech services that in which now is up close to 3% and CRWD is down 3.7%. Finance, bit of a mixed sentiment across the board here. You have BRKB, sorry, wrong sector. BRKB that is flat, Visa, MasterCard, and well in the green. Just want to check Robinhood here. Yeah, Robinhood towards the red. Coinbase is up 7% on the day. MasterCard, Visa are in the green as well. Retail trade is a bit of a bear, along with consumer durables. First name you see there, Tesla, that is down close to 2% on the day in retail trade. Amazon, Walmart continuing to slide. Reported earnings is down 9%. Costco, Home Depot, TJX also joining the pack, where Walmart is leading the names. Producer manufacturing, again, a mixed sentiment. So is utilities, process industries, transportation, where Uber is up 1%. Industrial sectors as well. Health services, more than half of the sector are flat here. Latter half of the sector a little bit in the green. Consumer durables, however, one more name, Ford down over 3.5%. Energy minerals is strong today. XOM, CVX as well. And then you have COP that is up over 3% on the day. GEV in producer manufacturing lagging a bit behind, down 3.5%. And in consumer non-durables, you have KDP that is up 3% on the day. Health tech, Lilly and J&J continuing to slide a bit towards the downside. And then you have, sorry, I'm just trying to check MRK, flat on the day. And BSX MRNA today, that was soaring well above 120% yesterday, is now down over 24.5%.
Thank you very much.
Just one quick thing before I send over Dawn. Thanks for that, all right? Yeah, that's my bad. So anyways, November. So I don't know if there's going to be any size. Let me know what expiration cycle. I mean, October 16th, this is NVDA. I feel like we should see some more expiration dates here, but that's not necessarily the case. They might step in a month, but you can most definitely, there will be an increase in activity, but November 3rd, I believe, is when the midterms are. Right now, we're not seeing that. I don't know if the derivatives market is thinking that far out, and I mean the larger concentration of participants, that is. So that's where I stand, and I've never personally looked at it. Bitcoin breaking out here, a nice bull flag that I was just talking about to Obi. Volume slightly stepping in, but nothing crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some form of a pullback. Good luck to my guy Los Pollos as well, too, on the additional NVDA long.
Thank you very much. Stopped out of my Moderna there. I was chasing. I'm like, oh, I missed out on this move. I'm gonna chase this a little bit, keep it light, and then light and tight as well. If I'm looking for it to go, I'm looking for it to go right away. Kind of chopping around here. Maybe I take the 130 itself, but it is creeping up into here as well. And another name that's also creeping up into that exact same price level is SpaceX, 130 incoming here on SpaceX as well. So I got a question for you guys. Maybe we can get a poll going up there as well. Who is going to get to $130 first? Is it going to be SpaceX or is it going to be Moderna? They're both roughly about $1, under $1 away. Got Moderna here, 131.50s, and then SpaceX kind of hopping around this 130.5 area. This was kind of that prior low as well. Only about 50 pennies for SpaceX, so it seems like SpaceX winning as of right now. But don't forget, Moderna can slap around $2 or $3 in a single bound as well. So that 130 could come in real hot. Maybe even hotter than that 50 pennies left on SpaceX. So I want to ask you guys, who's going first? We got one person so far, Peter. Peter saying that mRNA first. Maybe we can get a poll up. You got the
Yeah, I got it.
poll
You want to set that poll up there?
Yeah, sure. If you want to send me the link, I'll do it
sure.
myself. Or if you want to do it real quick,
I can send it. It's your poll, man. So we'll get
cool.
we'll get you set up
right.
on with that one. I'll send
I'll set up the poll for you guys.
Via,
a lot of people so
Discord.
far are just saying I'm seeing a lot more MRNA than SpaceX. We'll see. MRNA is creeping right back down to 131s, guys.
It's
a race. So I just got the link. I will make the poll now.
Yeah, I'll let you set that up there. I'll ramble on here for a couple of minutes. Where's my guy Mike P? Listened to some Fool in the Rain not too long ago. Man, what a beautiful breakout here, Obi, as you would say, beautiful stuff on this IBIT. And I was just talking about this bull flag that was being formed. So what was once clearly resistance, now acting as a big-time support system. And now we're headed towards this wick high. It was earlier in the session where we've seen a lot of the volume start to step in. And then now it's just been continuation ever since. So who knows, Dawn, I know you were mentioning that you were short Bitcoin from 122 and then re-engaged your short at 67,000. So, I mean, listen, I'm not one to tell you anything or what to do, but just to make sure, just in case this thing starts to squeeze, we're having some pretty back-to-back strong sessions here. I don't know what, it's none of my business, but I don't know if it breaks this 46.53, and I understand that's a ways away. I don't know. I think it might be an official trend line break, to be honest with you. Think about it. We peaked in October, just after my birthday here, October, and we've been in a downtrend ever since. So almost a year bear market here in Bitcoin. But I don't think that's anything new in the asset class.
All right, guys, both of these are coming in real close. 130.30s on Moderna, 130.60s on SpaceX. I got the poll up here. Which ticker prints?
130.30s and 130.60?
Yeah, it seems like Moderna's going to win, so you got to get your vote in first. Moderna, is it going to be Moderna? It is going to be Moderna.
It's
we
over.
Got a little bit of that. Yeah, it's over. I tried to do it. I tried to do it really quickly. There you go. He is saying 1. Yes, definitely. It's going to be Moderna as of right now. While I was doing that, already kind of trending lower here, breaking through that 130. I did say I was going to take the 130, and guess what? I did take the 130. A little bit of a chase here, so I'll take a piece off right away if I can, and if it won't let me have it, then that's fine as well. But yeah, pretty crazy. Got through that 130. Let's see if we can kind of get a bit of continuation. SpaceX still holding on top of that 130, 130.70s. Yeah, we had to be a little bit faster for this one because they were creeping in. They were coming in real close.
What's the next
and
target?
I did say Moderna can swipe down a couple dollars, and that's exactly what it did. You can see here on the chart.
Go to the next level.
Where's the next level? I mean, SpaceX got to get below 130, and then Moderna has to get below and hold below 130. Then maybe we can look at 125s, man. But like as of right now, I think 130 was the place to kind of watch. I think just a whole dollar level past the intraday lows. Let's see what it does with this level here. SpaceX, maybe we'll find some better luck on the continuation on SpaceX. As of right now, still holding and chopping around that 130 on MRNA. Why y'all short Walmart? That's crazy business, saying side quest investor. Hey,
is it though?
Walmart short? Long term might be crazy business, but intraday is absolutely not crazy business. It's actually, a great deal as Walmart started to roll back off of its highs, off of 110s, and then it rolled back once again off the open, off of 105s. Thank you very much. For a low of 102.86. Now I understand if you are an avid customer at Walmart, when you see the rollback, you probably want to purchase and buy. Maybe that's why you're saying that. But when I saw the rollback, I just wanted to continue to roll it back and take it for the short there. Again, like I said, a lot of my exits happened here at that 104.30. It's just this opening range low. I exited 90% of the position. Yeah. And I took some more off.
Why don't you pull up your chart?
I'll pull up the chart.
I mean, you have the
Moderna at the same
chart
time as well. Okay, so yeah, I can pull up the chart where you at. Okay, cool. So just gotta make sure I have my stop in here so that doesn't mess with me. Sometimes
how many votes
when I'm watching it, I don't really put in the stop because I'm there with the trigger on the stop. Nice little curl here on Walmart, so I covered a little bit more of the little trail that I did have left. But you can see here, this is what I did off the open. A bit of a long, I did want to go short, so I used reasons to sell from the long to flip short into the short here, and then didn't really stick with it. I think that was the big issue for me today was covering too much too early, one, and then, okay, cool, you made that mistake. Now how do you fix that mistake? Continue, re-engage, right? Re-engage when it's showing you, hey, look, 104 halves double top, underneath the opening range low, underneath pre-market lows as well. That's pretty significant. Sellers holding it down, support acting as now resistance at that 104 halves, stepping down. The only real trend break comes in like right here when you cannot break 103s. I remember looking over at Joe just like 30, 40 minutes ago at 12 o'clock being like, yo, this thing cannot break 103s. If it starts to bid, like I don't know, it's got to break 103s for me to really hold on to this. And you can see nice little break of that selling happening on Walmart right now. So yeah, maybe good dip buy down here at 103s, but bigger picture weekly is what I'm looking at for a potential continuation to the downside. But yeah, I think that Walmart, good short intraday. Bigger picture, yeah, maybe craziness in the bigger picture.
What's it look like when you zoom out, man?
I mean, it looks like we're breaking down like a monthly trend, but like the multi-year trend is still very much intact. So I think that's...
let's show the folks back at home.
Show them like a monthly, weekly.
Yeah, let's do that right now.
On Walmart there.
And see what we got going on in Wally's world.
Yeah. So yeah, that trend break, that's exactly what I'm looking at right there. So a bit of break of that. Like, look, that's straight line up.
Yeah,
right?
100
Walmart
bucks.
went straight line up from $60 to 140.
Yeah, right? It did. I mean, at some point you're going to see somewhat of it. Like that's 30%. I mean, a little bit more than that here. 28%, I guess, off of those highs. Anything south of this zone, I mean, I think it's a good.
They missed last earnings. Well, they didn't miss last earnings, but they also gapped down and sold off last earnings as well.
From a PE,
this is just continuation.
From a PE standpoint, it is relatively expensive, but again.
Oh yeah, like, but that's been the story on Walmart since forever.
Yeah,
Walmart has almost always boasted a ridiculous PE, but it's the change in PE over time that was kind of interesting. I think we talked about this in the past before. I remember talking about. I think, well, no, it was with Sean, I think. We were talking about the PE of Walmart.
Of Walmart?
Which was like, it's like a ridiculous PE.
Yeah, but, I think it's like 40. Well, I mean, we can figure that out right now. Good thing we got all of these trusty tools with us here, Obi. What's up, Fabian? Okay, I thought you had something to chime in here. Yeah, 40 times.
Ooh,
whoa,
let's
$6
go.
away. Where's?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, man, oh man, are you excited to do this? When are you doing it? It's the 28th, right?
$6 away.
Okay, so 2 days after NVDA earnings report, which is going to be a Friday. Are you looking forward to doing it, or
yeah, 100%.
Are you doing it yourself? You need some help?
Yeah, of course I need help.
Do you need Obi the barber to come by, or
Joey the barber's actually
Joey
up.
the barber's
I'm
here?
not. No.
You offered.
I did, but listen, dude, I'm not trying to butcher the haircut. It's going to
it's very simple.
No,
you just go buzz.
Yeah.
All right,
what do you mean? You have the cut. He's going for your cut.
Yeah,
he's going for a buzz.
No, he
That's
said
what
he didn't want
said.
it too low, though. He said he didn't want it too low.
You want it that low?
I mean, like, we'll figure it out after, like, we cut off the all the different connections.
Yeah.
All the different tails.
Connections, yeah, see, that's the thing.
Yes.
Because, like, I'm going to set that up, and then it's going to be, like, 4 of them, and then...
Ramin wants to do it. She said that you promised her
if she comes in, yeah. Oh, okay, the shaving part? Yeah. But at least cutting the ponytails off, at least. Like that, it'll be like 1 per person, I assume. Whoever wants.
I'm good, man. I'll hit the. Is there a pass button over here?
Okay. No one's forcing you, Joe. No one's forcing you to do it.
I only play. No, I just don't want to butcher because it's of the cause in which it's going to, right? I'm not going to do it. But no, you'll have a good time doing it.
I'll set it up. I'll show you where to cut.
So what are you gonna go? Like, what's the game plan after? You're gonna go with the temp fade maybe, or are you gonna hop in on the fade game? And you're just gonna let it grow. That's it.
Yeah,
one and done.
I kind of just like after I cut it once, it just kind of grows.
It just
maybe a little trim to give it some shape, but most of the case, no.
Nice.
All right.
I'm kind of. You can see I haven't gotten a haircut in a while.
Yeah,
that's because I'm starting to grow it out. I'm thinking about the sides. I usually get a fade.
Yeah.
This is like that part, like that ugly part of where you're growing your hair out, where it just gets like bushy.
You're getting.
I need to get it long enough so it can come back and join the rest. These hairs can join the rest of their friends up at the top.
Is that the game plan?
That might take a whole year, guys. I don't know. But you'll see me with probably longer locks on the side. I don't know. Maybe I get a haircut.
You're getting prepared for the winter.
Maybe, exactly. Winter's coming.
Winter's coming. You know. How long was winter coming for in Game of Thrones before it actually decided?
At least 6 months, I think. At least 6.
In Game of Thrones?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
It was years, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I think it was a lot of years.
Yeah.
Anyways, I get that.
Coming right back.
Did you watch House of the Dragon?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. All right. Are you a GOT fan?
Yeah, I liked Game of Thrones.
About Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
No, I haven't.
Apparently, it's 8 according to.
Really? IMDb?
Yeah. What's our guy's name again? Aegon the Fifth.
Who? Who is that? Aegon the Fifth?
Yeah, Aegon the Fifth said that it's actually 8 kingdoms, not 7.
Oh. See, I haven't.
Is he? Are you sure?
The third?
Okay, he's the third. I thought he was the 5th.
The Conqueror. The second one's the crazy guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then he's the grandson of that.
Is he? Okay, all right. He's the 3rd. I looked at the.
And then that other guy is the monkey's uncle, right? Yeah. Okay.
That's
cool.
right.
I thought he was the 10th one.
The monkeys. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Okay, all right. So I think, thank you very much, Chris Prasad, for the super chat here. $10 US for the good deed. Thank you very much. So I've been told that it's better for you to scan the QR code if you want to donate, and not necessarily, or the link in the description. So yeah, if you want to donate for the Chop for Charity, please use the QR code or the link in the description. Yeah, so that's what I've been told. Maybe not the YouTube donations are, I think, maybe a slightly different stream.
Yeah, they get 30%.
Yeah, so if you want to donate all of your 100% of what you're giving to the cause, then definitely use that QR code and use the link in the description, please and thank you. And soon enough, we'll see those beautiful locks on Fabian get cut off and go towards a good cause there. So shout out to Fabian for setting that up for.
Thanks for that, Don. Yeah, Gorev, let's see. Netflix, you're out there. Bitcoin very strong today, yes, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we had 2 scalps here today on Game Your Game. Now that it's south of the volume-weighted average price, I don't think there's going to be very much opportunity on it.
The game's been gamed.
It's been, yeah, exactly.
Well, the game right now, guys.
The campaign mode is over.
It's been a short. It's been a beautiful short.
What's this Game Your Game thing? Is this like a lifestyle? Is this a stock?
No, GYGY is a stock. It's called Game Your Game. Yeah.
Okay.
So great name there. But you know, a little bit of a pump, and after we saw that pump happen, it's been absolutely beautiful. Backside.
That's what happens when you camp. That's what happens when you camp out too much. There will be eventually not very much.
But like no game, no life, right?
No game, so. Oh, are you still running some? Are you still in the gaming first? Are you still running?
Of course, yeah.
Are you still playing
Harry Potter? So recently I hopped back on Destiny 2.
Okay.
So I've been knocking out some D2 as of recent, playing some Crucible. I love Gambit. For those of you who know what game mode, this is different game modes. Crucible is like PvP game mode in Destiny 2.
Oh, okay.
In the game.
All right.
And then Gambit's like PvE/PvE. Looter shooter. Yeah, it's a looter shooter game. Just sorry to interrupt you there, brother. But I mean, there goes Bitcoin. I think we're gonna head towards the high of the day at this point. Obi, it's definitely been a slow grind on this one, but the volume has been absolutely steady. Sorry, continue your point. But yeah, sure. We're starting to uptick on the slow and steady. I think we're poised to see that 75K. I think like the fact that we're above 70.
Yeah.
I think 70s with 75 within range, and if we sustain 75, then yeah.
I mean, I think it might be somewhat of a sentiment shift here,
you think so?
Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I mean, look at it.
Like, think about the question, like, why are we really catching this bid? Like, sure, I mean,
you can figure that out right now.
The bid kind of started in speculation towards the like Trump's meeting with, I think it was Coinbase and a few other.
So there's a couple of
brokers,
things,
right? But
crypto-linked companies were trading higher as President Trump urged Congress to pass the Clarity Act and set the commodity futures. Pardon me?
Which they won't.
I mean, if we do the news segment later, which I think we're going to be doing, I'll talk about this more. But Guys, you know I know all the tea on all the senators and what they think about everything. I watch Senate hearings in my spare time, including the Senate Banking Committee, which was responsible for this. There are a lot of cooks in that kitchen, and most of the cooks don't agree with one another, and they're, one's trying to put in some cilantro, the other one's trying to serve some caviar. The point I'm trying to make is I think, but for a couple small subsections of the Senate, it's going to be a tough look here. And then Congress, I don't know, the pro-crypto look in Congress is a little bit more muddy. Furthermore, and again, I don't want to take up too much of y'all's time, but Cynthia Lummis, who's one of the big, champions of this act, she's leaving the Senate.
Oh, okay.
We don't even know who's going to replace her because they just did the primary. But either way, she's like a big crypto backer. When she's gone, the only people you have in that committee who are pro-crypto is the, increasingly volatile Bernie Moreno and our good friend Bill Hagerty. So, I mean, not that those two aren't strong crypto voices, but Cynthia Lummis was the strong crypto voice of the Senate. So, I don't know.
Also,
for those who care, that's the crypto thought.
Didn't you also state, Adair, as well, too, that the betting markets Kalshi was favoring in it not being passed this year?
Yeah, they think we maybe get it in 2027, which, again, I think it's probably better for crypto if they get it while Lummis is still in office, because I don't know who her replacement's going to be. I think they just did the primary and that the Republican, this is Wyoming, so I think it's likely to be Republicans. But I'm trying to talk politics, guys. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to talk like real.
Yeah. No, I mean.
Harriet Hagman, I don't know her thoughts on crypto. So she's the Republican candidate. I don't know where she stands on crypto. So I'll look into that. But yeah, I think this could be a tough look.
All right, thank you
there it
very
is.
much, Adara. I think one real quick thing, Adara. Someone in the chat was asking, does NVIDIA have news? NVIDIA is getting a little bit of a spike. Okay, all right, send it to Dara.
Let's go.
Yeah, this came out like literally right now. The information reporting that, quote, NVIDIA plots a China comeback with a new AI chip. So again, NVIDIA reportedly planning a comeback in China with a new AI chip. As I hear more on this, I'll let you know. The information has a pretty tough paywall, but as I see info, I will keep you guys posted, pushing to the upside on their new China chip comeback.
So I have the headline here. Adara, you can even chime in whenever you want, because you and I have had the conversation between the back and forth with the regulators in China. It was actually approved in the United States, but the Chinese regulators who are the one who kind of put the kibosh on this. But also saying, just to add to Adara's point there, NVDA plans to begin small batch shipments. I believe we were talking about this yesterday. Sharif brought up this point of an AI chip specially tailored for Chinese customers by the end of the year. So custom chips coming there. China's way, and a company which we know. So I think a major question here for me now, considering if we're actually planning that, we've heard this before, okay? Until they physically receive them, I think that's going to be a narrative. And I don't know if Jensen's going to do this or not, Obi, but if they guide with China integrated into the forward guidance, I should say, the outlook, then who knows what can happen to this name. It could definitely go on a little bit of a run here. Don, yes, you were short you added your short at 72 and a quarter. The real driver of BTC move is the economic war and sanctions uptick. I think there's I think you can definitely classify multiple potential tailwinds here, Don. Let's not forget the point. We did see some upticks when Iran themselves asked to be paid by the United States in Bitcoin. We've seen some movement there. But I think if the real sole driver was an economic war quote by Donald Trump himself, then I think a long time ago we would have seen some strength step into Bitcoin, especially after the start of the whole conflict. All right?
Yeah, nice. Good look there on that. A little bit of a loop back to the conversation we were having earlier. I actually got a proper answer. We were talking about how much money would you need to make $250,000 passively in the market. Well, it actually depends on your average dividend yield. Obviously, there were a lot more factors that were required. But yeah, this is I guess a GPT response. I was just like, all right, how much money would I have to put into the market if I wanted to make $250K a year passively via dividends? Now, it really depends on your average dividend yield and how aggressive that is. If you're doing a modest 2% average yield per year, then you have to put in $12.5 million. right? Now, if you say you run a very aggressive portfolio, that's very, maybe you're taking risks as well. Don't forget that initial capital is also at risk on some of these. You have a 10% average dividend yield, then you only need 250. But, something more along the lines of reality, 4 to 5%, maybe even closer to 3%, you're looking at spending anywhere between $5 to $8 million. That's around what I said. If I make $250K a year passively and sit on my hands and do absolutely nothing, it's going to cost me $5 million to roughly make that portfolio. So that's
Ben Affleck says 12.5 ain't ish, bro.
12.5, yeah, exactly. So that's just when it comes to, I'm not an expert on dividend investing, but that's my perspective of how I view it. So it's like, if I want to make this much, how much do I have to pay for it? Then I got to go figure out how to make $5 million first.
And then if that, so before we send it over to Adara, you have $5 million. So now you've hit that goal of $5 million. Is your first thought here, okay, I need to throw all of this in there to collect $250,000? At the end of the day, listen, a lot of people wouldn't complain, but now you've just reallocated all your capital into one name. So talk about concentration risk to collect a dividend.
No, not only in one name, but in one portfolio.
Oh, and okay,
the total portfolio brings you 4 to 6%. So you do make a good point there.
Yeah.
You're going to be locked in, and that's an issue there. I think did we get a call for Deere? I think so. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I would go VOO. I think don't go, but I would look into VOO. Pays a little bit higher of a dividend. Adara.
PayPal in focus here, guys. Once again, we have another report on basically what we already know, that Stripe and Advent want to buy PayPal. This is at least the third different time we've heard this exact same piece of information. Some before now reporting that Stripe and Advent, same parties as before, are in talks to acquire PayPal at roughly $53 billion, more or less the same valuation as before, with the sides not far apart on valuation. Now, that prior price was about $60.50. That's what we were seeing the bidding price likely to be. We're actually dropping here very likely, again, because they're trying to pay only $60.50 for this. So keep an eye on PYPL, not a great looking chart. Also, GOOGL, let's take a look at Google here, because Google announcing that Google Gemma has surpassed 1 billion downloads. Now, I had to look up what Gemma is. This is a Google DeepMind project, and it is a collection of lightweight open models built from the same technology as their normal Gemini models. So we're going to send you back over to Obi.
PayPal right away, very, very interesting to me off the bat. We know that recently they had a potential takeover bid. I think, pretty sure it was these guys right here getting slapped back down to the downside here. It seems like maybe they've called off the deal. I don't know what specifically the details.
Oh no, it's the exact same. We're just hearing the same parties trying to negotiate the same deal.
So no extra details? No new details.
Which is why it's so odd that it reacts so strongly every
time. So is it just the news that they're now trying to negotiate more? Are they having troubles with negotiations?
No, apparently they're now not far off on valuation, because the biggest issue that Intel, I don't know why Intel.
PayPal?
The biggest issue that PayPal's having, the intel is that the biggest issue that PayPal's having is the valuation. But now apparently they're not too far in it. But again, if you guys saw, PayPal did a really similar move on a really similar story on Friday. Right. For my money, I can't really tell what the difference is.
All right, thank you very much for the details on that PayPal spike. Yeah, recent news. I know it was a buyout rumor, so I'm like, all right away, gotta put eyes on and get involved for potential opportunities that may show up. It seems like the dip down to 61 is getting bid back up. 61.60, 61.70 is happening now on PayPal as the market continues to curl a little bit to the downside here. So I'm gonna be patient. Not really what I want to see right away, but I do want to pull it up when something like this happens. I want to pull it up right away to kind of observe and get a feel for any potential opportunities. We heard what the news was as well, kind of looked into it. Thank you, Adara, for that one. But PayPal doing a little bit of a dance. Dude, this happened again. Why is Moderna continuing to do this? I don't have covers out, and it keeps covering my position partially. It's something, I don't know. I gotta check.
Do you have any orders out?
No, I thought, I don't know, maybe.
Scroll through.
The thing with me though, I keep my orders queued up on the book. So if by accident, if I press enter while doing something, the order is just gonna go in, and then I'll go click something else without knowing it's there. I think that's what's happening. But yeah, maybe I should not have my orders queued up here while I'm half distracted.
What's up, Adara?
Well, I was going to say, for one, I am sorry. I'm genuinely sorry that happened before I make this pun. But number two, maybe the P8 and your subconscious is trying to inoculate you against trading losses. No, but in all
biology
seriousness, I'm sorry that's happening.
I see what you did there. Biology pun there. So nice. So yeah, Moderna. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm still in a piece, so thankfully didn't cover everything. But yeah, I got to stop queuing up for partial positions and not hitting enter, and then hitting enter when I don't realize when I'm doing stuff on other screens. So GG's on that one. Peter Hope in the chat with the super chat here. Favorite D2 class? Okay, I see you. And question, will MRNA public offer soon? I like both of those questions, actually. And I did a bit of a deep dive on Moderna. You know, I just want to get out of the rest of this right now because that's really dumb.
What are you doing?
131s.
Oh,
yeah,
what's
so
it at right now?
It just spiked up to 131s there on that one. So I'm just like, all right, I'm not even. My stop was up here 132s. Don't even need to let it get there if you're going to do some shenanigans like that.
Bro, what the hell?
I'll just come back to it later. But okay, getting back to the question, will MRNA public offer soon? Honestly, I think they can. But when I did a little bit of my AI deep dive last night or yesterday, the probability of an offering definitely there. They do need to raise capital, but you got to remember it's Moderna. They have their cash flow. They're positive. They make money. It's not like they need a significant runway. But yes, of course, the stock's up over 150% overnight, and they do have filings in the pipeline. They do have some offering deals. I think, if I remember correctly, and I think they have something for $100 million as well. So yeah, they can definitely offer, and they have done that in the past, and it does make sense for them to do so. But the question becomes, is it a good thing to offer on day one or day two of the move? What kind of message does that send to investors? What kind of message does that send to anybody who's positioning long and looking at this Moderna move as a potential, this could be a potential episodic pivot where the whole story kind of is shifting around, and maybe Moderna is going to become a stronger oncology story now, and that's what's going to start moving the stock and some of the associated sectors and themes as well. So I think it's a very valid question, well within range for Moderna to do so. And yeah, if you want to get lucky for a potential offering, and that's kind of the line of thought that I've been going down as well. I want to be in when and if that offering happens. So how can I put myself in a position of being lucky? Trying to find reasons to short. If it's looking like sellers are in charge on the day, I think that's usually pretty good. But reasons to sell, it is selling off pretty aggressively relative to what we did yesterday. But have we broken through prior day's lows? Let's just take a quick look and check if we have on MRNA. I'll get to the second part of the question soon about the favorite class in D2. But Moderna, this is a 15-minute chart. Boom. Prior day lows all the way down at 114s, right? So we still have a ways to go, 130. So we can still do $15 in the next couple of hours before the close, well within range on something that's done over 200, easily over 200% overnight there on Moderna. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. And it seems like the short is coming in nice. Like I said, got a few buddies who are already sitting on this thing short from the after hours, especially from the pre-market as well. Banger entries on some of that stuff, but you know, I didn't really have that trade, unfortunately. But beautiful continuation.
Were you looking at it last night?
Let's see what it
How
does.
was it in the O?
Nothing too crazy, I think. I was more kind of sitting on the sidelines last night.
Up like $4.
Yeah, so it did have a little bit of a move there in the blue ocean session. High of 171s and then drop back down. So we saw some selling come in the after hours overnight session as well on this one. All right, so the second part of the question. Sorry for the long roundabout. I like Hunter. I like Hunter Void class. Hunter Void class, I would say, in Destiny 2 is what I like to main. I know there's other ones like Titan. I think one of my buddies definitely likes Titan as well. There's Warlock. I know Warlocks are kind of OP with the magic. but I like my hunter. I like a strategy and kind of being a ninja. So hunter's more my thing. We'll be right back from Midday.
Someone's saying, listen, hold on. Before we send it over to if I look at it and it's not gone parabolic, then you in trouble. No, I'm being sarcastic. Let's send it over to Deere. So I'm saying Dogecoin is going crazy right now.
Is it now?
The resurgence of the Doge.
All right, Deere?
Keep an eye here on SpaceX. Wall Street Journal reporting that SpaceX has lined up more than $8 billion in Golden Dome contracts. Apparently, that's at least 1/3 of the Golden Dome spending so far. So again, SpaceX reportedly lining up more than $8 billion in Golden Dome contracts, comprising apparently at least 1/3 of overall spending from this program thus far. So yeah, I guess some DoD contracts. Good look here for SpaceX. If I get more details, I'll keep you posted.
Where that was I just about to do? Pull up Dogecoin here, Obi. Let's see
what's going on with the good old Doge? I'm still holding mine. I haven't looked at mine in the longest time.
Forever.
Yeah, there's no reason. Why should I even look at it? Wow, we're back. Nice.
We are so back.
We're so back.
Funny.
No. I got my alerts up at 24 pennies. Let's see.
Dude, when you hop on, do you see what it does when you go on to trading?
Yeah. The little
dog.
The Doge
man,
dog
talk about
comes
talk
up.
about.
You gotta restart it though.
Can we do that?
Yeah. Restart it and then pull up the ticker again. Like
we'll go 5.
Go somewhere else and then like a different ticker and then pull it up again and then on this.
Because that's crazy. Like they're just dancing on you at this point, man. Let's pull it up. Is it coming?
No, the original, not the tether. No,
that's where it came. That's where it came up on. Yeah, it came up on the tether. Yeah. Anyways, I mean, a whole penny. If you're looking to get involved with it, then I mean, we had this nice run. I remember I was in my maybe mid-20s or something along those lines when. That's crazy to think how long ago it was when it went up to like 80-something cents, Obi. That's when that was the prime for me in Dogecoin. Or did it even ever? Apparently, according to this, no. But it wasn't 24. It was a lot longer further back here. Yeah, 73 cents. Oh, back in the good old days of 2021. Man, oh man, the ride that my boys and I went on with this one was pretty fun, Obi. We were buying it at like 8
bro,
cents.
I was there. You
were on the roller coaster as well too?
I also have sub 10 penny entries.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Do you have more here? Are you going to grab any more of Dogecoin by any chance?
I don't know.
You know what? I don't think very many of our viewers would know this, but I was buying this stuff off of Square.
CoinSquare.
Yeah, the Canadian
CoinSquare. Sounds so
crypto.
familiar.
There was like 5 cryptocurrencies that you could get. Dogecoin was one of them, and me and my boys we put a couple $1,000 in each.
I was on a lot of my small caps. Nice. Crypto small coins. They're called ish coins. A lot of my ish coin trading was on Bittrex, if you remember. I had some ETH on there as well, but Bittrex was huge, and that exchange got closed down.
What's that? Binance was one of my first. That's what I first started trading on, was Binance.
Bittrex was so.
And doing technical analysis on was Binance.
Yeah.
All right, who you guys? Let's know. Let's do maybe we'll throw up another poll here. Is anybody else involved in some Dogecoin? Remember when Elon Musk went on his little thing there where he was accepting Dogecoin payment?
Yeah.
It's just like,
man. I mean, sure, I'm not selling Teslas, but I kind of went on that thing as well. Like during COVID, when I was just like, I was accepting everything because I was trading it. I was like, funny enough, we were trying to sell some bigger ticket items on Facebook just to kind of clean out the house. And I was just like, I will accept cash, e-transfer, or crypto. Just give me anything. Funny enough, one guy tried to lowball me with the crypto. He was going to give me like a few grand less. And I was like, dude, just because it's crypto doesn't mean
in Doge or BTC?
No,
I think I
would accept
fair,
BTC,
man.
ETH, either or. Yeah.
I think you get BTC. I mean, I've seen at a lot of people were accepting BTC left, right, and center. Again, when it's down and people are kicking it.
Yeah, exactly. I remember back in the day, funny enough, it was 50 Cent. Shout out, I'm wearing G-Unit today. But
are you actually?
Yeah, I am. This shit right there. Let's zoom in on this.
G-Unit clothing?
Yeah, look at what it says underneath.
What does it say?
Right there. You see that? Can we get a zoom in? Oh, here, where?
Take money?
Okay, so it says take money, get money, make money.
Okay.
So, that's the motto.
That's a vintage. Remember the G-Unit sneakers? I always wanted that.
But where I was going with that was he had sold his label didn't even tell him, but he had sold some albums for Bitcoin, and that was just sitting in a wallet untouched for so many years, and all of a sudden, like he was just like, oh, I just stumbled upon a few $100,000 of Bitcoin just because.
Because he was getting
he had those
there
payments still sitting there from crypto payments.
All right, we're gonna pull this up here because now it's getting somewhat comical. Apparently, NXTT, no follow through on these bad boys. Game your game to the downside. Another couple of the other names, was it NAF? That was no liquidity there, but the NXTT now halted to the downside. UNEH. Let's see if we can get this to change for us here momentarily. But that was another name that was up substantially. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. And then BRLS, I've seen a couple of names. But once they're south of the volume weighted average price, I pay no mind to them because that's not what I'm looking to do. That clearly tells you that sellers are in control, and that's not what we're game. 50 just released the G-Unit kicks. No, man, I was looking at those in like the early 2000s for sure. How do you like SBET for a long? I'm kind of liking its setup. ESP zoomed out, bit 5 to 1 day chart. Oh, okay, yeah, let's pull up SBET. I don't know if you're a fan of SBET here, OB. We'll get your opinion on it as well, too. Again, if you just look at bigger structure, breakout volume supporting it. Now, listen, probability, according to Dow, probability would say that the continuation may be in your favor. There's clearly going to be some form of a resistance here. Sharp link. Incorporated here. I mean, $8.28 could definitely be in the works, but this is what really stands out to me is this massive volume candle. It's kind of like what we're looking at here in regards to Bitcoin. We'll head over to IBIT. Look at the volume supporting the move, right? I think that's what we need. I personally focus on, even from an intraday standpoint, right? Like, is the volume there? And if it's not, the probability increases that it may be a false breakdown, all right? So, yeah, there it is, re-released. Yeah, you might have a good opportunity with that one in the continuation to the long side. I don't know if it's optionable or anything. My boy Don is saying that he's in some leverage plays as well, too, in regards to SpaceX. Yeah, I mean, let's just hope it doesn't completely break down and head south of 102. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. Thank you, Joe. Anytime, Brian. Yeah, if you guys have any further questions, now listen, I have to hold on to today's gains, even though it's nothing crazy to write home about. Too many times last week and yesterday as well, too, in regards to Moderna just being up and then trading it all away. That is bad, OB. We're not going to be doing that again here today.
Yeah, I'm just getting out of Moderna here. I'm obviously chasing the 30 breakdown because I'm like, I don't have my 142 still, my 142 short that was for some reason taken away by a ghost cover. Just kind of keeping it tight here. Maybe not the best idea. Just gonna leave it like, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 3 strikes. You out.
You out. Yes, sir.
Out. Take a breath. 130 could break, could not break, but I'm obviously getting a little too chopped up.
You tried, okay.
Because like I had this, right? I had this short from earlier, 142s. I had that one here.
You added?
I added a little bit, and then this was that whatever, like unintentional. I think I just had an order sitting there.
No way.
And then boom, look, my stop out was here originally at that 142. If we got back above 142, I was going to stop out. Okay. And then the whole point was to take inventory into and through the low day. That's exactly what happened, but I wasn't involved. Now I'm getting a little bit of FOMO, a little bit tilted, a little bit cheesed or cheddared, maybe Goudaed, but bit of a chase, and I find myself doing that. So I'm going to step back and be like, all right, you don't need to do that to yourself.
How about Provolone?
Take the next trade. Yeah, Provolone definitely making me feel a little alone without this position on
Katina man, we know you're back, baby. How's that? Love the Provolone. Are you ready for this one, Katina man?
Ooh.
You ready for this one? Okay. So what we do is we grab one of the nice Kaisers from Farm Boy there, get the meatballs with some nice fresh Farm Boy tomato sauce, and then we make the meatball sub with the provolone on there from Farm Boy. The classic. I know you're a Sandy guy, so some good steaks. You did or no? Oh, okay. Oh, they didn't have them. No, that's how. Joey adds. Where do I know you from?
Cleaned out shop.
I don't know. Maybe the show. Where are you from? Is the real question. Let me see if I know you, because I actually don't know too many other Joes. Yeah, I have no idea.
Joey AIDS.
Joey AIDS, man.
AIDS? Yeah.
Adez. Maybe. I don't know. Where do you know me from? The gym, maybe?
Whose mans are these?
Whose mans
are those?
Yeah, it's
Come
great.
Get your mans.
Come get it.
All right. So what's going on? Kind of a bit of a lull here. I think if you're in winning positions, you're in winning position. I'm not really seeing too much kind of happening here. Should be in. I'm doing a short, but I'm just gonna wait for another entry. I'm obviously getting in and out at the wrong places here in the chop. Getting in on the low of the range, and then range of the chop. Getting out on the top of the range of the chop. Not the best. Not in line. Not I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Honed in sync with the ticker there as we pull a little bit lower back down into 129s. PayPal didn't really do too much, guys. We got that flush off of the news and sideways chop consolidation. So it seems like price is being accepted around 61 halves, give or take a dime here on PayPal. So interesting look there. Didn't really continue, no follow through on that one. Let's take a quick look at some of the in-play names that I was watching today and see how those have been panning out throughout the day. SpaceX obviously being one of them. 135 breakdown, boom. That was the trade on SpaceX. Sure, you could have had VWAP, you could have had all these other things as well. 135, that was the level. Boom, clean, goes right away. One of the best trades on SpaceX. What else did I have on watch? Nebius, NBIS. Shout out to one of our members in the trade pod. He was pretty aggressively short this one off of the open. NBIS been selling off pretty aggressively here. Bigger picture story kind of going on where we've broken a bit of a shorter term uptrend. And you can see here Tuesday, Wednesday, strong selling off the open. Not the same kind of selling, but definitely selling nonetheless. Pretty aggressive as well. 220s all the way down to 212s day low. So that continuation was quite nice there as well. I was watching DRAM here. We know that Neil was trading this one in and out earlier this morning as well. Didn't really quite see too much on this one, but I have been borrowing shares pretty much every day, waiting for the right time. And the right time has not come just yet. Maybe it won't, or maybe it'll never come. Who knows? But that was one of the names I was watching. Now, of course, if we're going to be looking at DRAM, also watching Micron and SanDisk, SNDK, both of them catching a bit of a bid here, some relief from some of the selling we've been seeing in the overnight sessions and in the memory names as well. Over the past, I guess, couple weeks-ish, we did get a bit of a bid coming into the beginning of the week, but sellers seem to have stepped back in. MRNA, of course, everyone was watching that one. We know what that one's doing, continuing to push lower without me. Thank you, GG's. Walmart here, Walmart sideways action, but you know, sell-off of epic proportions. We haven't seen this kind of a sell-off down day on Walmart for a very long time. In the pre-market, they were saying we haven't seen a sell-off like this since July of 2022 or something like that. But coming in off of the open, we haven't seen a sell-off like this since the early 2000s or something. Adara was mentioning on Walmart. So yeah, epic proportions of that selling on Walmart. Webull. Again, I wasn't really bullish on this one, but even though it had that gap up. So I stayed away from this, and rightfully so. Those sellers stepped in pretty aggressively. This ticker has been beat down for a long time, right? So $10, sub $10, sub VWAP, and then breaking through that opening range low at 939s as well. So seems like a lot of the stocks that we were watching, some opportunities showed up in one way or another, but you had to be a little bit of a sniper. So those were the only things I was really watching off of the open, and even now intraday, don't really see anything else that's popped up. I know that Game Your Game was pretty nice on for the short side. If you had borrowed, I don't even know how much borrows were.
Yeah, I'm sure you can figure that. You can figure that out too. No?
Yeah. I'm sure I can figure it out. But the short is done. Like that thing reverted 100% of the move, right? If you want to see one of the better reversions on the day, then you just had to kind of, game your game. You know,
yeah,
the long side was good
now.
as well. Thank you for Mike the writer for pointing that one out on the first halt up, and then the flush back down. Look, back through halt, that was great. Back through initial halt close, that was also great. Back through that $3 gave you $2. Not every day you get about a 30% move within about 30 minutes. So a minute per percent on the downside on the break back below $3 on Game Your Game. So great look there. I'm curious to know, Mike Philip the writer, oh boy indeed, did you take the backside as well? Did you flip short or were you only long? That's my question for you, because honestly, I like the short a lot better. I like when bids kind of get really aggressive and boom, 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 everyone's piling in, everyone's chasing, everyone's looking for that continuation, and then it does absolutely bupkis.
Yeah.
And then it does a stall, and then buyers can't hold it up anymore, and then it starts breaking down reference prices, and then it starts breaking down VWAP.
All right.
You know, I like that a lot. So shout out to Mike for pointing that out. He's saying he didn't. He almost did, but was typing too much in the chat and missed it. Come on. I know the chat's a fun place. You got to take the trade first, and then talk about it in the chat.
I'm posted up. I'm gonna see if we can catch an order here on NVDA before it breaks down. It's very tight risk. Like, I'm talking about a couple of pennies. It's either it's gonna work relatively quick or it's not at all. But yeah, see ya. We're ready when you are. I know we got a half an hour left. We'll send it up to you. Oh, we were gonna fire up the news here.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and see what we got going on with that. A couple good stories here today.
All right.
We're going to start with just taking a quick look at Walmart. We discussed this earlier as well, but Walmart is now at the moment down 9% on the day. Stock is continuing to sink here. So it's raised its outlook for the year, yes, but EPS has come in at 81 cents adjusted and revenue at $187.94 billion versus the expected number of $186.77 billion. Net income at $6.37 billion compared to $7.03 billion a year ago period. And another thing, well, there are a couple of things to take a note of. Adara will definitely fill you in on it, but I do want to touch these particular points that U.S. comparable sales have grown 2.6%. A setback, however, has been seen in the earnings report from its health and wellness business by just minutely by 0.8%. Net sales are expected to increase 4 to 5% for the year. An EPS estimate is $2.80 to $2.87. CFO John David Rainey had also said that Walmart also expects to incur just over $2 billion of incremental cost headwinds related to higher fuel this year. And finally, in their earnings call, we saw quotes saying that growth is continuing among higher income households while customers remain under pressure and also are increasingly prioritizing value, convenience, and speed.
Yeah, so I think it's worth noting that those comparable sales, that actually is a setback. Comp sales growth, 2.6%. That is the lowest growth in U.S. comp sales that Walmart has posted in over 6 years. Let's not understate that, because I was seeing that as attributed to the main reason that Walmart even dropped today, or at least to the extent that it dropped. The other issue, of course, was guidance, but the actual report's not bad. It's me, I come bearing infographics. Let's get into them. So here, this is a look at Walmart's revenue. Now, what's interesting, Walmart U.S. revenue, down quarter over quarter. Walmart international revenue, flat quarter over quarter. Sam's Club, up sequentially. And it's going to be a bit of a pattern, so go Sam, go. Let's talk as well here about the year over year revenue growth per segment, right? You've got membership and other income, I think well outperforming, at least on a total basis and on a U.S. basis, versus net sales growth. This is just pure growth. But then again, you've got Sam's Club, net sales up 8.8% year over year. Now, let's talk here about these comp sales. Now, these numbers are including fuel, which is why this Walmart number is actually just above 3% versus that 2.6% number we mentioned, including fuel, it's a bit better. But I want to talk about the Sam's Club U.S. comp sales growth, because this is just an upward trajectory. You kind of flatline a little bit here, Q3 2026, slight growth in Q4 26, then up like a rocket here, Q1 27, Q2 27. Sam's Club U.S. comp sales growth, that might be the positive story here for WMT, so something that I really wanted to flag and highlight.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. See, now there's a couple of things that really intrigued me in regards to this report. Now, Deere brought us the information about the Sam's Club aspect. Now, the e-commerce side of things is going to continue to grow. They're spending, the digital ad revenue is increasing as well too. So that's something positive within this company. But I think it's starting to be a narrative shift here, and we're starting to see this across multiple retail names. Now, we were talking about the name slipping me, but Marmax and the company within that, slight brain fart here. But anyways, aside from that, what we're seeing is that the consumer is really, really starting to fix their concentration. All right. And there's also a couple other things that are coming into factor, I believe, as well. Now, people are now focused more on the necessities opposed to those luxury goods, but also the increase in gas. Now, the CEO stating here within Walmart that $4 per gallon that is in the United States threshold is what is really starting to exhaust the average consumer. Now, individuals who or couples, families that make $100,000 or more, you're starting to see increase in transactions there. But that's not necessarily the case here with Walmart in the lower end consumer. $4 does seem to be within per gallon the threshold, and you're starting to see people really, really only focus on the necessities and not spreading their capital too thin or getting too heavy into debt in regards to the expenses because they have to spend so much on gas.
Yeah, I think the story on Walmart's pretty interesting. We're talking about like some historical sell-offs here on Walmart, and I think you bring up some good points in terms of the consumer. Because the question is, even if Walmart, which is arguably one of the most defensive consumer names, they're starting to see some slower traffic, and then discretionary spending slowing down as well. Is that a signal that the consumer is finally kind of starting to take a big hit? I know there's a lot of talk about luxury spending being down as well. So here's the thing, like Walmart's down aggressively on the day, and the story isn't EPS, right? It's the slowdown in their core business, because the thing is, it's their first comp sales miss in so long, in 5 years, right? So their discretionary spending is definitely down, and we're seeing this kind of shift in retail, in consumer spending. So I think rightfully so, a little bit of a change in potential fundamentals when you start seeing things that haven't happened in 4 to 5 years. You see investors kind of heading for the door, maybe deleveraging on some of those things. But I think even though they provided a great forward look, the bigger thing was that comp sales were down for the first time in 5 years on Walmart, and that's relatively rare for a name like Walmart.
And again, it just goes back to my point of being, I think, so much because people have to spend so much money on fueling their tanks getting to work. You're starting to see that kind of that luxury spending start to slow down in the average consumer. What's up, Randy?
What's going on, Randy?
All right,
how much is that Porsche costing you in fuel?
Yeah,
I know it's a diesel
these days.
Yeah.
It's not the diesel.
Oh, it's not the diesel. Oh, okay.
How much are you seeing increase?
Okay, all right. Okay. So do you feel 91 or 94? 94s?
94s?
At Shell only?
No, sometimes
Esso has
okay.
Esso's better in my opinion.
I know like one of the cars like only Esso for me. I think it's yeah. Sorry, only Shell. That's what I meant. Only Shell.
I prefer
only
Esso.
Shell.
Esso is better.
That's what I meant, not Esso.
Esso is better.
Like that car only feeds on Shell and not Shell.
How much are you spending? 200 plus to fill it up?
$250 for a tank. And what year is it? 23.
Or you could just buy a Tesla, like Katina Man said.
Yeah, 4 times a month. Sean's saying, or you could fill it up for free if you get a Tesla, or maybe a Neo or a Polestar. What's that?
Yeah, get the Lucid. Rivian. All right, guys, let's talk some Alibaba here. Oh, is he? Okay, all right. Yeah, we'll wait till before we send it over. Yeah, Randy. Apparently, you're in the way there, brother. It's all right. We'll let him. We'll let Randy ramble on a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think
you're in the camera. You're in the camera shot. All right.
Let's take a look at the second story of Baba now. Also reporting, so earlier in the day was flat, continued to remain flat. The stock has not gone crazy as much. It did have a little bit of an uptick during the after the open. So let's take a look at what really going on here. CapEx up 75% to 67.7 billion Chinese yuan. That is equivalent to 10 billion USD. And this was primarily driven by customer purchases, increase in CPU compute capacity, also higher prices across a rather broad range of chip components. Revenue is now up 9% to 268.95 billion Chinese yuan. And in March, if you know, Baba had reportedly told us that they will be upping the price of AI computing and storage products by as much as 34% due to surging demand. Revenue for Key Cloud division, which is the key unit that monetizes AI, has seen 48.4 billion yuan and is up 45% year over year. So the Qwen 3.827B is capable of handling coding professional work, research, also long horizon agentic tasks, the company has said in a release. Also, another thing that Baba said that I saw on X earlier this morning was that expect substantially higher gross margin profitability and as own chips replace commercially purchased chips in AI data centers. With that, you have Baba absolutely flat on the day.
Thank you for that, Sia. And I'm going to just add to your point here. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys, they're making 10% more than what they did the previous quarter. But just considering they're spending so much, and we're seeing this within some of the hyperscalers in North America, obviously the Amazons, the Googles, the Microsofts, and the Metas. Now, earnings per share fell 42%, adjusted net income declined 38%, EBITDA fell 30%, net income plunged 75% to 1.5 billion. I mean, if we're worried about some of the capital expenditures here, then I don't know how you feel about Alibaba. I mean, also, we look at the AI and cloud compute services, revenue jumped 45%, I mean, which isn't horrible, but if you're expecting this stuff to pay off, within the span of 3 years, to add to Sia's point, you're going to have to increase the premium in which people are subscribed to the platform, the Qwen model. Now, as for increase their use of public cloud and AI products, AI-related product revenue reached 1.82 billion. So they're making money. They're making some form of money here, considering they're spending a boatload, marking 12th straight quarter of triple-digit year-over-year growth. So they're spending the money. The CapEx is there. They're building these models. Even though it costs a lot of money, you're slowly starting to see it funnel back into the company.
Yeah, I think you cover some solid points there. Baba down on the day, but getting bid right back up off of the open. The initial reaction was pretty aggressively sold, down. I guess if we just do a quick measurement of from the report to the pre-market low, down roughly about 6.3%. But like, what's the bigger takeaway here? And I think you cover some great points. Their revenue is up. Their growth is up. I think what investors are a little bit more concerned about when it comes to this one is that you're making more money. You're very profitable. The business is actually accelerating, but you're also taking a lot of that I guess revenue from that and it's spending it all back into AI. So the investors really got to ask, like, what's the time? Are we going to give up current short-term revenue for AI to make your AI moat, right? That's the real question for Baba. And are investors willing to hold through some of that drawdown when it comes to some of their earnings reports? That's the question
here too.
That's the trade-off.
That's the question, right? Like we've seen some of the I mean, Meta is a different exception, right? Because I think they have multiple headwinds. But think about how heavy Microsoft was hit for a long time just due to the CapEx. Same thing with Amazon depleting 75% of their free cash flow. People, like, these companies are getting punished for spending all of this money, and obviously the circularity of things within North America as well too can be somewhat of a worry. But Google these companies are showing that they're making money off of this. So that's why I think the bubble debate is still up in the air for me, because
it's questionable.
in the .com I'm not aware, but from what I've read and what I've heard is that they weren't making any money. Here these guys are raking in billions and billions of dollars. So I mean. Hey,
I mean, but I think I think it's a little bit more convoluted than that, because they're just kind of passing around the buck, right? They're kind of paying each other and then asking banks for more money and then continuing to pay each other some more. So it's just is that kind of system going to fall into itself? That's the question there, right? So
there's a billion monthly active users across the Gemini ecosystem now. It officially surpassed OpenAI.
I understand that aspect of it but it's just I understand their revenue, one of their source of revenue is coming from that, but we're talking about spending.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking about the issue here being spending, and the thing is, they only had what 56 billion investment planned, and they've already spent half of it.
Oh,
they've already spent half of it. I understand it's half the year. We've passed half the year, but they've already spent more than half of it. So I think maybe potentially investors are getting concerned as to like, okay, well, why aren't we seeing the results that we were looking for? Is it really worth a 75% cut on your revenue, like blowing all that money on AI infrastructure? Because that's what happened. They cut their revenue by 75% because they had to spend on AI related things. Yeah. So I think that's the bigger question here. It seems like getting bid up in the open session, kind of flat.
Yeah, how does it look on the daily there?
On the daily chart here? Okay, so we pull up the daily, boom, take off that VWAP. It's kind of sideways chop here.
Still lower highs there though on it.
Yeah. All right. Kind of sideways, but nothing crazy. I think I think I always like to look at the Hang Seng as well whenever I'm looking at some of these ADRs to get a picture of what their futures are doing, and you can see pretty healthy sideways consolidation. I don't know.
Right on. Let's talk some John Deere.
Ooh.
Some John Deere.
DE Adara. Now you want to talk about this EPS at $5.10, beating the consensus estimate between the range of $4.69 to $4.72. Net income has come in for the company at $1.38 billion for the quarter that ended August 2nd. In total revenue, net sales and revenues, $12.61 billion, up 5% year over year. Worldwide net sales and revenues have increased 5% to $12.608 billion. And another thing that I just wanted to throw in here is that production and precision agriculture sales have decreased for the quarter as a result of lower shipment volumes, partially offset by favorable price realization, also foreign currency translation.
Yeah, we'll get into that production and precision ag in a second. I want to talk about just the quarterly revenue. This is honestly, unironically, one of my favorite infographics here that I do. And this is just, John Deere revenue. And it's very, very choppy. This is like, if this was a stock, I wouldn't be trading it. It's just, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. Slightly down sequentially, but as Sia mentioned, up 5% year over year. So, take it or leave it. Not a bad look here for John Deere. Now let's mow our way down over to this other visual. This one has not yet been released on X. It's going to be coming out tomorrow, very likely. But yeah, as you can see here, that 6% drop in production and precision ag, that's the largest year-over-year decline per segment revenue, so not a bad look. You also have smaller decreases here in the other revenue and financial services categories of 2% and 3% respectively, but not too rough. Then we should talk about some of the strength, because small ag and turf is up 12% year over year. When I say ag, I'm saying agriculture, just shortening it here. And then construction and forestry, that's up 18% year over year. So it seems like really those two sectors buoyed this entire group of results, because these are, I would say, like two of the larger revenue sectors here, second and third largest revenue sector here to that production and precision agriculture. So on the one hand, yeah, it sucks their largest segment is down year over year. On the other hand, nice growth for their other two large segments. So yeah, I think it's kind of a toss up here. Not a bad look for John Deere. I have to say, just from a trading standpoint, this thing is violent today. And I like a good spready ticker, more than the rest of them. You guys know me, but there is some stuff on here that I've never seen spready tickers do. Be very careful with this thing.
Definitely wild.
So as we dig more into this report here, Obi. Oh, God, that one. All right. Anyway, Deere expects large agriculture industrial volumes in both U.S. and Canada decline 15 to 20%. Now, my major issue with this is we often talk about sympathy plays. I thought we would see much better price action and more interest within this name across the board, considering all of the construction and the major capital expenditure that we just rambled on about for a little while there. So production and precision, we talked about that. Construction and forestry net sales jumped 18%. Small turf net sales 12%, $3.3 billion. But what we're looking at, cash flow and special items, operating cash flow totaled $3.2 billion for the first 9 months of the fiscal year. Deere ended the quarter with $8.9 billion in cash flow and cash equivalents. Now, my issue being with this company is I don't understand. So in comparison to Caterpillar, you have the grid. They have the ability to take these massive plants, these data centers, and put them onto their own power grid. John Deere doesn't have that. It's significantly smaller. But as from an equipment standpoint, I thought that we would see a much better performance in this company than what we have over the past X amount of months. And it's unfortunate to see that, because in a time like this, and if you're going to forecast that you're going to lose 15 to 20% in agricultural revenue in Canada and the US, what does that mean once the build out starts to slow down? It could get even uglier here for John Deere.
No, I think that's a solid point there. Yeah, like their biggest strength in their I guess earnings report came from their construction and forestry unit. So I think again, being led by a lot of AI data center building. The question I'm asking is that this is supposed to be a farming company, right? They're supposed to make like tractors and mowers and
excavators
and excavators and stuff. Well,
dozers, right?
Stuff like that. But now, like this used to be a farming story. Is this becoming into the next kind of AI picks and shovel story as well, as they kind of shift? Literally, they're making more money with building some of these AI data centers. Now, you make a great point as to like when all of that cools down, will the revenue kind of come back from some of their other sections where it's been kind of beaten down, I guess.
I just thought the performance, right? Just like the need and the demand for the equipment to have this massive build out, right? This AI infrastructure. I thought that this would be a good sympathy play with Caterpillar. It's not even comparison. There's no comparison really in between the two companies. I understand there's a little bit of an advantage in regards to Caterpillar, but when it comes to the actual physical equipment itself, I'm surprised that it hasn't found any form of participation.
Yeah. No.
Which is unfortunate, because if things slow down, then it could get even uglier. So
yeah, unfortunately, we'll have to see what happens when and if things start to slow down. But I don't, as of right now, with the way they're dishing out some of these data centers, it doesn't seem like they're slowing down anytime soon.
Eventually, though,
increasing capexes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We're still kind of. It seems like a lot of these businesses are still very confident in spending all this money to be the first ones, because it's a race. It's basically kind of like an arms race. Who is going to be the first one? Who basically potentially reaches some sort of AGI?
Yeah. So just a couple of comments before we send it over to Adara there. Unless it's breaking, then we'll send it over. But anyways, Jason Deerick says, Joe, well, it doesn't really take that much equipment, but it takes more equipment than what has been previously used, right? Because these are new data centers, and you have this mass build out where they're popping up like they're going out of style almost at some point. I understand some states aren't allowing them to do so, but you needed more than what you previously had, and it doesn't make sense, in my opinion. If you can rationalize it, let's get out of this NVDA short. I forgot I even had this order posted out as it continues to move a little bit higher than what you had before. So I'm just surprised that it hasn't had an uptick in actual sales in some of the equipment. So that's it.
Keep an eye here on Kratos, KTOS, bouncing off the lows. Daily Caller reporting that the Trump admin, or at least an official in the Trump administration, is urging Taiwan to invest in defensive drones. They're warning that any delays would be, quote, a concession to the CCP. Now, why KTOS? Because apparently they're actually co-developing a Taiwan-specific attack UAV with Taiwan's Military Research Institute. Therefore, if the U.S. is saying, hey, Taiwan, invest more in drones, it's very likely that a potential drone investment would be KTOS. So nice look for this stock.
Let's take a look at our final story and talk a little bit of crypto, shall we? So I know, Adara, again, you want to chime in on this. Please feel free. Bitcoin is trading at its highest levels since June. A total of the crypto market cap has risen by 13%. Adding $291 billion. One of the reasons this is also happening is the push from the White House and crypto industry leaders to get the Clarity Act across the finish line in the coming weeks also. The price of Bitcoin is up over 5% right now, and it's trading around the $72,800 region, highest level it's seen since the 1st of June. And this brings its two-day gain to 12%. Earlier this week, I had seen Bitcoin trading around the $63,000 region, so this is a pretty big jump up here. And crypto stocks overall have followed suit. I always like to check levels, so charts are right here. Ethereum is up 4%, over 4% on the day. Solana is up 3% on the day. And XRP is leading this pack. It's up 20.7% on the day. So Also just checking levels for Coinbase is also continuing to rally. It's up 8% on the day. CRCL, that is Circle, is up 7%. And finally, MSTR, that is Strategy, is up 8% as well, Adira.
Yeah, so I think here, I have two things I want to say. First, I kind of want to summarize this whole Trump meeting, and then I'm just preparing my screen for the second part of what I want to say, which is going to be kind of getting more into what I think maybe some of the issues are going to be with getting that, what's that thing called? The Clarity Act across. So let's just start here by talking about the meeting yesterday. We'll start with the meeting. So yeah, this gentleman was here. He's not on the screen, but his stock is Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong. He was present. He spoke, and he was very anti-Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler, of course, former not pro-crypto SEC chair. Now, the current SEC chair, Paul Atkins, he was praised quite a lot. He was present at this event, as was a man, Michael Selig, who is, I believe, CFTC chair, and I guess he was also praised for his pro-crypto efforts. He also went pretty hard on Gensler, who, again, hasn't been working for over a year and a half, still getting lots of hate. Now, the thing that was interesting is it was kind of hard to argue what the purpose of this event was. Like, they called it a summit, but it was just some people taking turns talking in a mic and having stuff to post on their X accounts like Vlad Tenev did. I'm not joking when I say Vlad Tenev just pushed his hair aside like this on and off for a whole half hour. And if you guys have seen his hair, you know what I'm talking about, before this event started. Like, there was a lot of people not really knowing what to do, what was going on. Trump was half an hour late. When he was there, again, it was just the things we've kind of already said, where he was just urging this Clarity Act to get passed. Now, at this point, I think really the only person who can get this on the docket, and I believe he has gotten at the docket for early September, is Senate Majority Leader John Thune. At this point, it's in his hands. But now I'm going to switch a nice little transition there to the second part of what I want to say, which is getting back into this whole Clarity Act mumbo jumbo. Now, I have three senators to show you, all three of which I mentioned earlier. This guy, Bernie Moreno, he's considered the first senator to be elected by the crypto lobby that happened in October of 2024. Now, he and Cynthia Lummis, who we'll get to in a second, they both were having backdoors meetings in early August with the White House saying, hey, we have to get this Clarity Act off the ground. Other dude of Tennessee here, Bill Hagerty, also very pro-crypto. Now, Cynthia Lummis. Now, I mentioned she's a massive driving force here in crypto. She and Moreno doing the closed-door meetings. Senator of Wyoming, she's leaving, though. And her replacement, so she's the blonde, you can see her replacement here to the right, or at least her potential replacement, the Republican nominee here as of a couple days ago, Harriet Hagman. Now, I looked into her record because I said I would, and she actually is pro-crypto. So this could be still an okay look here for getting the Clarity Act and other crypto-related legislation passed. However, unlike Lummis, who is a massive driving force in crypto, Hagman doesn't consider crypto to be one of her key priorities. So I think it's not a bad look for crypto, but it's maybe not as good of a look as like a true pro-crypto senator would have been, just from the perspective of the crypto space. Yeah, guys, like if you've been in the show a lot, I find U.S. politics really interesting. I watch these hearings on my spare time. So yeah, if you ever want, and just in general, a little bit of a political slant, not picking sides, but just, a zoom into any of these topics, I'm always here for that. And with this long rant over, yeah, I think that the Clarity Act could very genuinely be in trouble. And as Joe and I were saying, these Kalshi is showing we might not get it till 2027.
Thank you very much for that, Adira. I mean, in regards to crypto, listen, we talk about, we can go on and probably about Bitcoin for quite some time, but I don't think that's necessarily a narrative in which is going to happen right now. October of last year, around my birthday, is when I think might actually have been on my birthday. October 5th of 2025 is when you've seen that $126,000 marker in regards to Bitcoin.
Oh, I remember that. We had some conversations about that top.
Did we?
Remember, I was like, yo, we're not looking back here for at least a few months. I was like, this is the top, right?
Yeah. Well, been
with the way it didn't really kind of capitulated, but more like rolled over.
Dude, there were like a couple of weeks later, there was mass liquidation
events. Of course,
events.
Confirmation came in.
And it's been in a downtrend for almost 12 months. Right? Like, think about it. September will be 11 months. If it heads back to, if it's still down and it hasn't. Now, Neil and I were looking at the potential, or saying, so if it's 20% off of the lows, then officially not in a bear market anymore, which is slightly odd. But considering it would still we don't know what it would be at that specific price.
That's funny.
But you were down 60% off of the highs. So now you go 20% in the opposite direction and you're no longer in that trend. What are we? We might even be around that area, 25%. So we can officially say that Bitcoin is no longer in a bear market. Can we? Considering that this whole asset is still down 43% off of its previous all-time high. Now, I think a couple of stars are aligning here, right? A trend line break.
A trend break, yeah.
Volume stepping in.
Yeah. Catalyst on the horizon.
Catalyst, tailwinds.
Yeah.
So has the narrative changed? An accumulation phase at the lows? Did we think that we were going to drop 50% before? No. And I didn't think that we would see the exact same type of volatility in which maybe we started to panic a little bit too much here when the derivatives market started to step into IBIT. And that wasn't the narrative. It still proceeded to sell. It took immense amounts of time. I don't know, a couple months at a time it would consolidate, take an additional leg lower. I wasn't expecting that, especially once IBIT came to market. You had the successful ETF launch, it's the most successful of all time, but yet it still struggled at times when other analysts, I know Sean's good friend Tom Lee was saying $250,000. You had a $500,000 on Michael Saylor's front, and none of that happened. You didn't even get to that. You got a little bit above halfway in regards to the $250,000 mark that I just couldn't stop seeing the headlines on CNBC, and then it decided to tank 60%. They weren't going to make it that easy, apparently, Joby.
Yeah, I think the aggressive bidding that's coming in on what? Just Trump hosting some people at the White House, understandably enough. But there's a lot of, I think, ethical hurdles that we also have to kind of surpass still. Not everything is just, done and dealt with. Like, okay, Clarity Act is coming through. There's a lot of disagreements, as Adara mentioned earlier, on the Clarity Act. So is it going to pass? Is it not going to pass? Is this a lot of just posturing? I have no idea. But there's two stocks that I'm definitely watching to see if the Clarity Act actually passes, and those two are going to be MSTR and Coinbase. Coinbase especially because I think Coinbase stands to benefit a lot more with the passing of the Clarity Act. Now, taking a look at this on the weekly chart, we can see that it's been kind of consolidating, basing around. We saw a similar kind of action on Bitcoin before it kind of started to break out on Ethereum as well. But Coinbase, take a look at this. Support 145s, 150s, support 145, 150s, and then again, 2, 3, 4 times over the past few years. Since 2024, we've held this 150 level on Coinbase. Is this going to be the turnaround? That's the question I'm asking. I like that we're holding that support level. I really do like Coinbase when I'm kind of looking for a potential vehicle to trade based off of the Clarity Act story. But MSTR is another one. Right, MSTR. We know that bit of in trouble over the past year, especially in 2025 with the flush all the way from 300s down into here. A lot of people were talking about, when is he going to get liquidated? Is he going to get margin
He'll never get liquidated.
According
to
as of right now, I think he's just straight up chilling. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with this one. But I do like Coinbase as the better trade on this whole Clarity Act move. We'll see if there's going to be follow through. I like that Bitcoin's finally back above 70K. That's very interesting to me. Now the question becomes, is it going to sustain? Is it going to sustain, or are we going to see a pop, stall, lower high, and then flush? Because technically, as of right now, we're still making lower highs, even with the bid that we got today, right? And yesterday. So I think we got to stay patient, see how this story kind of unfolds to really see if Bitcoin can start another rally, another cycle, or not. But yeah, Adara?
I'll be pretty quick here, guys. I just think this is pretty interesting. Look, Anthropic reportedly preparing to file for an IPO as soon as the end of this month. So this could be within the next 12 or so days. Potential listing could be targeted by the end of October. They're also expected to match or maybe even exceed the size and scope of SpaceX's record IPO. This is coming to us via Bloomberg.
Ooh, that'll be exciting.
Yeah. You got cash on the sidelines for this bad boy?
Always.
All right, man, always. Fantastic stuff, Obi. Thank you guys very much. Adara, Sia, everyone during the midday. It's time for us to send it over to the gentleman. I'm going to grade this butter chicken.
Ooh,
and we'll see what we got going on with there.
I'll decide on it as well. Let you guys know tomorrow. Take it easy.
Thank you, everybody. We've already established